Hello, my lovelies. How are you today? How was everyone's weekend? I know mine was long. I apologize. There is a sick um, family member on my daughter-in-law's side, and they were too sick to watch children on Friday. So I did that instead. They're so cute. I also watched them yesterday, of course. William, WB comes in and goes straight to the bedroom because he needs alone time. His brother bothering him. He's 4. They share a bedroom. This is not gonna get better. And little, BW, he's 2. He cleaned up the entire living room of toys, which, I mean, they get in and 10 minutes later, it's a disaster area. They have every truck out, and we have bins of trucks and cars. They have every vehicle out. They have all the Lego out, which we don't have a whole lot of Lego in there. It's Duplos. But we don't have a whole lot of them. But that's out. Mr. Potato Head comes out. Um, yeah. He cleaned almost everything up by himself. He had also brought some cards, little, flashcards, and they were all over too, because that's the first thing he did was dump his little container out of all his toys he had. And and he destroyed that all by himself. The other one wasn't even in there yet. He came later and played with the toys, but oh, yeah. But he cleaned everything up all by himself. He's only 2. His mom says he can concentrate when he wants to. Oh. So that'll be fun. WB got into another wrestling tournament. Never gonna end. He got in late, but I think it's only because the other kid that signed up that's in his weight bracket, there was only one of them. So they're like, we will make an exception for you and your kid. Uh, they're very cute. They're very cute. Well, they did not want to take a nap. Oh, BW is the 2-year-old says, we watched Peter Pan, like the original Peter Pan. We're watching old, like we started in the 30s watching old kids movies. Pinocchio's been the favorite so far that they've discovered, but so we watched the original Disney Peter Pan. And I want to say Tinker Bell is the original Mean Girl. Just saying, go back and watch that. Tinker Bell's a snot, man. Um, Also evil. Tinkerbell's evil. Why do we like Tinkerbell? She's not nice. She's not a nice fairy. Although, fairies can be bad. If you watch Cafe Latte, you would know that fairies can be bad. They can be good, but they're very bad. They don't see humans as people. So anyway, we get done watching that, and we have this little stuffed frog that we've had forever. Well, it's a puppet. It's a frog puppet. You put your hand in it, and it talks, and you can make it, you know, do facial expressions and stuff. And he said the frog didn't like that scary movie. And then I said, "Well, did you like the scary movie?" He says, "Oh, yeah, I liked it." He's so silly. I love him so much. Another one's getting very sophisticated. I forgot to buy dinner for Monday. Like, I usually buy a pizza because it's easy. I can just slip it in the oven. I cannot cook around those kids. My husband did come home early, though, just so he could see them. And I whipped up some spaghetti. It's literally spaghetti and jarred sauce. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to make spaghetti if you simple it down. Um, so he ate all of his. Um, BW didn't want anything to eat, but he had scarfed down an entire bowl of. blueberries at one point. That's the one that's always hungry. I he wanted a snack, so I'm like, okay, do you want him? I said, what do you want? He says, I want a cookie. I said, okay, do you want a maple cookie or a chocolate cookie? So he says maple. Or no, he said chocolate. Usually he likes the maple ones. The maple ones from Aldi are really good little sandwich cookies if you are an Aldi shopper. Try picking them up. They seem to have them all the time, so it's a staple product and not a special. So I gave him an Oreo, Aldi Oreo. Those are good too, by the way. Um, or I went to get him an Oreo, and he saw the M&Ms, and he's like, M M&Ms. I can't even say it like he says. um, and I said, okay, do you want a chocolate cookie or do you want M&Ms? He says M&Ms in a little bowl. I have these little, the condiment containers you get from the restaurant. I have a set of those, and I've been putting M&Ms in there for them. So that's what he wanted his M&Ms in. He's so cute. They are so funny. They're funny and cute. First thing he said is when he came in, the other one didn't talk to me at all. He says, "Is Grandpa home?" No, Grandpa's at work. Yes, Grandpa's at work. When he be home? Like it's 10 o'clock in the morning, dude. He's gonna work like all day. He doesn't really have to. He could take off. That's okay. That is okay. All right. Guess what? I have reality TV. Woo! Seven Little Johnstons. Still working on the Housewives. I'm trying to limit myself to 1 hour reality TV for the show a day. Sorry, it's not going well. Um, but I did get Seven Little Johnsons done. So it's Seven Little Johnsons. Save the date. No pressures. Is what it was titled. Yeah, they're back. Uh, and why is the I would like to know why, as well as apparently Anna would like to know why. Um, it's uh still Seven Little Johnsons because there are not Seven Little Johnsons on this show. There are only six Little Johnsons because the baby does not count as a little because she ain't a little. She ain't a little person. So we open with Liz and Bryce doing an engagement photo shoot. They got engaged on the beach in Florida. They did not film it, which is cool. I mean, Bryce opted for a private proposal, which I appreciate. Not even the family was invited to the proposal. They all knew about it, but he opted for privacy between him and his wife and his kid, which is good. Good on Bryce. I think he's the smartest person on the show now. Emma said it was hard to keep the secret from Liz, so she's glad he finally proposed. Liz and Bryce did the normal, photo shoot thing back at home. And then they go to the river to do shots in the water. Liz insisted on keeping her platform heels on for height, and as a short person, I understand where she's coming from. Um, definitely understand where she's coming from. I don't know if I do that, but I understand the urge. um, both Bryce and the photographer were trying to get him to trying to get her to take her shoes off, and the photographer says he's used to you being short. I promise. And then they show us old pictures of Amber and Trent, and they didn't have engagement photos. And I have to admit that Amber was rather cute. No, hatred and narcissism can ugly up a person because she is not cute anymore. Liz and Bryce are doing a twirly dance thing in the water, and she broke her shoe. But she said they were cheap, so it's kind of expected. No, it's not surprising that she broke her shoe at all. Trent and Amber had their wedding photo in Little People of America Today, which I have never heard of, but that's not surprising. I'm not a little person. It does seem weird though. Who would care? Who cares? That much. Once two people get married all the time. all the time, every day. Yes, even on weekdays. So I don't know why anyone would care all that much. They said it was next to the obituaries, so they have obituaries on the same page. By the way, the photographers dressed very unprofessionally. Um, just as a side note, not, not someone I would want. I wouldn't want to pay to take pictures. I hope they were free because she was clearly not a professional. Um, Bryce decides he after they finish up all the photos, he decides that he's got a surprise, and he brings out what can only be described as a ghillie suit. And I literally laughed out loud. It was so funny. I about died. He's trying to convince her to put it on, and she says, "I don't mind drowning you in this river now." She says no one's going to see the photos, and they're going in his shed. Jonah on the couch says Bryce's priorities are in order: Leighton, Elizabeth, fishing, hunting, and cold beer. At least he has hobbies, unlike Liz, who does not seem to have any hobbies. Liz looks like she's barely tolerating having her picture taken in the costume, but Bryce has more. He comes out dressed as Mr. Fisherman. They get pictures taken like they're going on a fishing trip. And Bryce jokes that they should get married in those get-ups. And you know Liz is not doing that. I think Bryce has a sense of humor that the rest of this family, other than maybe Anna, does not appreciate at all. Um, but he also kind of say, I think tones it down in their presence. At the house, Liz comes in carrying what is obviously a wedding outfit for Leighton, and she's searching for Emma, who is the go-to babysitter because they don't have to pay her, I'm sure. Amber comes out wearing her wedding dress. Frankly, I'm surprised she's not wearing it to the wedding, knowing her. But uh, there's talk, there's much talk about how she's fitting into the dress. It's so tight it made her fart, and it's shorter. Liz says she must have grown. Well, she grew. She grew, just not up. This is all because they're going to go wedding dress shopping. Liz says something about how she likes the dress and likes Amber's dress, but she can't fit into it because she's huge. I think Liz has just completely absorbed Amber's styling on everything. And it's weird because most people don't want to be their own person with their own opinions, and especially not like their mother. It's very strange to me. Like she is like mini me mom, only she's bigger than mom. Emma says she can fit into the dress, and Liz makes a rude remark on her breast size. So it seems to me like maybe we're bullying Emma now that Anna's not around to kick around anymore. It's really sad, and poor Emma. Liz looks very pleased with herself making this remark to Emma, and it made me want to punch her. So the look on her face made me want to hit her, and I'm not a violent person under normal circumstances. The producer asked Emma what she's up to, and she says she's a sophomore in college majoring in psychology. She TikToks and plays with Leighton. Sounds like a really exciting college experience. She should be on campus making friends and having fun. Like real fun, not Johnson family lame fun. Apparently, Liz has zero patience for shopping, and Emma says Liz will be a nightmare. Amber says her wedding dress was $199, and that's about $400 nowadays, which is cheap, even now. Um, then we cut to Father's Day, and of course, Trent has to make it into some weird sex thing, making a comment to um, Liz about what they were doing 23-ish years ago. So lame. So lame. I can't stand him. The producer asked for an update with Anna, and Trent is silent, and he looks miserable. And all choosing to participate or participating, and those that aren't. And she doesn't look miserable. I think Trent is regretting how he's treated Anna. I really do. I hope so. Trent, grow up, nice shiny spine, and go talk to your daughter. without your wife, and don't yell at her. Don't treat her like she's scum because she's not. She's doing better than all your other kids. So Liz and Bryce are on the couch, and she says they're getting married in November. Um, and at the dinner, Father's Day dinner, they just said they don't want a fish fry in the wedding for the wedding because it'll be too hot in November. Now I know I live in Michigan and it's cold in November, but I've also lived in Arkansas, which is not that far away from Georgia, and it is not hot in November in Arkansas or Georgia. I should look up the actual temperatures in Georgia in November. They're getting married November 6th. So it's just like getting married probably in September here. It will not be hot. Liz has decided she wants the wedding in a backyard. Trent is for renting a venue where they do all the heavy lifting. Trent may be the second smartest person on this show. And way to voluntarily tell your parents they're in charge of your wedding, Liz. Like, you don't just announce that. You don't say, well, we've always wanted to get married in the backyard. You say, may we? We have a dream, and may we get married in the backyard? Now, I'm not married in the backyard, but I asked. It wasn't just a given. She says she wants to bring the kids back and show them the spot where they got married. A, your kids are not going to care. Personal experience. Your kids do not care where you got married. And two, it may not, that backyard may not last the way you think it is. My dad's house is basically now where we got married. The entire yard looks completely different than when we got married there. So Liz better not count on that. Nana isn't doing well at all. She has cancer, metastasized cancer. So Liz wants to do the wedding sooner so that Nana will hopefully be there. Nana is in hospice, and Trent is not hopeful that she'll make the wedding. And then they have a big discussion about save the dates, save the date announcements. I do not know why men cannot understand what a save the date is. We didn't have those back in our day, but I know what it is. I know why they're sent. They don't have big wedding or engagement announcements anymore, so you got to let people know somehow. And when you pick the date is the best time so that they can prepare. If you have, 6 months to a year to prepare for going to a wedding that you know you're now invited to or will be. I wonder if they send a save the date to Heidi. Because I know she wasn't invited to the wedding, but I'm just curious. By the way, Heidi's no longer on the show either. They kicked her off, obviously. Now we're at the dress shop, and it's Liz, Amber, Emma, Liz's best friend, Madison, Maddie, which seems to be Madison's mom, and her great aunt. And she's going to ask Madison to be her maid of honor, not Emma, Madison. Have we even met Madison? Because I don't remember Madison. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't have the best autobiographical memory, but I don't remember ever seeing Madison. Her little people friends. Yeah, sure. But Madison? Who's Madison? And where are her little people friends? Why are they not dress shopping? Liz says she wants a low neckline, an A-line dress, and not a lot of sparkle. Emma wants all of the sparkle for her, though. Angelina, the dress shop person, says it's like pageant dress shopping. Ew. Great Aunt says that she wants Liz in something very soft and flowing to match her personality. I'm sorry, ma'am. Have you met Liz? Soft and flowing is not how I would describe her. Do you live in another universe and you just got transported over here recently? Bryce wants her to show off her boobs. WTF, Bryce. He is starting to fit into this family with the inappropriate comments. And why would you want your wife to show off her boobs at your wedding? It's just weird. Amber says dress shopping is different from little people because they're going to have to make alterations. Well, guess what, Amber? Almost everybody has to make alterations to their wedding dress. Like, if you don't have to make alterations, that's exceedingly rare. Now, my daughter happened to not. I definitely did. Like, I don't know what she's thinking. Like, I'm sure she thinks they're special because they have to make alterations, but everybody does that. Everyone. Meanwhile, the guys minus Jonah, I don't know what Jonah's up to, are building a play structure for Leighton. They insist on calling it a playground, and I find that weird because it's not a playground. That's not what a playground is. It's a structure. It can go in a playground, but it's not a playground. Alex is apparently still into filming because that's what he's majoring in college, apparently. Even though he's gonna farm, he's majoring in filming. Maybe he should be majoring in agriculture. And of course, they couldn't build this without screwing it up in a major way. They keep putting things up backwards. Did they not read the? I don't think they read the instructions. Typical men. Trent says he'd rather put up the structure, which looks like it's going to be an all-day thing, than go dress shopping. But he says it more crassly than that. Way more crassly. Something about a bull's behind was in there. It's weird. I think he has dementia because his filter is gone completely, it seems. And that's how my brother-in-law was before he was diagnosed. So I think he's got dementia onsetting already. And he's only in his 50s, early 50s, I think. I think they're like 10 years younger than me, so the early 50s. First dress is too princessy, and it has a basque waist. And if you're familiar with that, you know that it comes down to a point in the front. Um, and they keep pointing out how it points to her coochie because I can't get away from the crassness here. It even had a warning on the episode for poor foul language and inappropriateness, basically. Second dress is sparkly. It has pockets. Everyone acts like they like it, and then later they said they don't. It's determined to be too sparkly. They do say Emma would have loved it, though. I can't wait till Emma gets married because that's going to be an awesome dress. Back to the guys, and they're taking stuff apart because they're not following the directions. Trent manages to hurt himself with a drill because he's not using it correctly. You don't put your hand on the back of a drill. Bryce asked Trent how he planned the proposal, and Trent says Amber planned the whole thing. Apparently, Amber decided they were getting married or she was done. Take notes, Ashley. The next week, Trent got a ring and proposed. I mean, if you want to get married that bad to that man, she probably figured she wasn't doing any better. And she probably couldn't do any better, so. The final dress that they show, her actually trying on, is the one Liz has been dreaming about. She's had it on her phone for months. Everyone is saying no to the dress. It looks too springy for a fall wedding. She's complaining that she feels like she's going to pop a button. That's not on the dress, Liz. Those dresses are oversized. Most people have to have them like tightened up in the back with clips. Liz does not. Back to the play structure, and they finally got it done, and a butterfly shows up like some kind of omen. Liz tried on 7 dresses and didn't find the dress. But she did ask Madison to be her maid of honor, and Madison said yes. So at least there was a yes at some point in this episode. And that is the end of that. Thank goodness, because I don't think I could stand the crassness anymore. I don't understand why people have to act like that. It's so low class. Like, do better, people. All right, bye that. All right, I come up with a new segment. What am I going to call it? I'm calling it Bad One Star Reviews because they're silly. I got the idea watching a YouTube video the other day on silly one-star reviews of people complaining about the national parks. So we're going to start with the national parks. Why not? So this is from Nancy, and she says Acadia, too crowded and overrated. Too many people. It was bumper to bumper cars making the 15-mile drive just to get into the park. Yes, that's what happens at these parks. They fill up. They do. Sometimes you have to have reservations to get in. It's a national park. Yeah. Then there isn't enough parking at the major attractions. People are walking and crawling all over the rocks everywhere like ants, ruining the landscape. Um, People are allowed to walk in the park. It's a national park. You're allowed to walk in it unless you're told otherwise. And they're not ruining the landscape. Come on. Ruining the landscape and the peace you should feel when viewing nature. Both of the rangers I interact were curt and humorless. Maybe they were because they were talking to you, ma'am. I've never met a park ranger that was anything less than courteous and nice. The town of Ellsworth is cute, however, the only two-lane roads in and out backups were horrendous. Yes, because you're going to a national park. It's to be expected. This was done in September. So September is a prime time for parks, especially in the north where Acadia National Park is, because it's in Maine. So it's going to get hot. It's going to get too cold soon, and the weather's probably very pleasant in September. So I imagine all the locals go in September. Was this on a weekend? Because you'll have more people on a weekend. Um, there are nearby. There are ports that cruise ships, like big cruise ships, go to. So was it on a cruise ship day where a bunch of cruise ships were in port? Because I can see how that would make it a little bit more crowded, also. Enjoy the scenery in rural Maine with more without the traffic and crowds. Without is in capital letters. And did I mention you can't find a parking space in Bar Harbor either? So unless you book an expensive room in downtown, possible too. Never coming back. Maybe try October next time. Oh wait, you're never coming back. Never mind. Never mind. Oh, and of course her name's Nancy. Negative Nancy. All right, next we have Traumatize Them Back, and it's entitled In Case There Were Already Enough Reasons to Not Catcall. I'm 23. I don't necessarily look it though. I'm 5'1" and under 100 pounds. And frequently I told him have a baby face. So she looks like she's a young teenager. Because I know I'm 5 foot nothing. And I was under 100 pounds when I was a little bit younger than that. And I got catcalled a lot. It was ridiculous. I looked like a little kid. When I was 21, I looked like I was 12. Anyway, unless you got close, unless you got close up to me. Anyway, I live a bit outside a major city and I often go to the city for acting and modeling jobs. I was on my way to a photo shoot the other day and was walking from the train station to the studio with a stoplight. A car with two men rolls down the window and calls to me. I didn't hear exactly what, just general idea, something about how I look. I gave them a blank stare for a second, and just as they were about to keep on driving, I said, I'm 16. I only got a brief look at their reactions, but they looked horrified. If you've ever catcalled someone, piss off. I'm not a minor, but for all they know, I could have been. It's not flattering, and it will not make her want to date you or bang you. Yeah, for sure. Have a nice day, everyone. Thanks for the read. And then she put in metric units for convenience of those overseas, which can do more math than we can. So I don't know if that's really necessary. Much better at math than we are. Yeah, stop doing this, guys. It's disgusting. Stop it. My husband, he will see an attractive, if he's driving up past somebody and he sees an attractive female, and then he gets past her and looks back and she's a kid, he feels bad about himself. But you can't tell from the back. But he would never catcall anyone. That's gross. That's gross and disgusting. Stop it. Space Case Stace says, when I was 16, I worked at McDonald's. A cop came in and offered to put me on house arrest at his place. Ooh, cops. This is why we say ACAB, because you have way too many. My stepdad was right behind him. He's also a cop and I just said, hi, Dad, and let the chips fall where they will. It's gross, not flattering, it's insulting. Relevant Target said, when worked at animal control, I had guys ask me to leash them, tie them, and catch them. So gross. Perf- perfunctory, perfunctory. Answers, we castrate males in the shelter, right? All of them. Oh, that would be the perfect comeback to that. Oh my god. They talk about some movie I've never heard of. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I'd have the right kind of job for that to come back though. Unique aberration says, it's a second top comment. It says, um, that wouldn't stop them. I got hit on it. 7 years old. Oh, OP said disgusting. I'm so sorry that happened to you. It'll stop most people, but unfortunately, there's a select few that will do it anyway. It's awful. It even happens the first place to people being of age. The third top comment uh, is from Yuska Baby. Uh, Damn saying, we're 14, never helped me or my friends, even when they were 14. What did work very well is barking at them like dogs. Suddenly they were scared and they had to cross the street to get away from us. Would absolutely recommend. That is a tactic that people recommend when a man is harassing you. Just bark at him. Bark at him like a feral dog. It freaks him out. I mean, we're called bitches for a reason, right? This is from What Should I Do? It says, someone keeps sending me these Snoopy bags from Poshmark, but I never ordered these and I'm not being charged. I'm really confused. This is the second time it's happened and has my username, address, and my name on the shipping label. Again, it's from Poshmark. It says, I don't know if it's a mistake or it's the second time. I don't know what to do. It comes with a priority mail package and a box over it. Um, yeah, that's kind of weird. Top comment is from Chrissy Cole, and it says, "Sell them on Poshmark." And OP says, "Smart." I wonder if somebody is ordering these for themselves on her account, but she says she's not being charged. Yeah, that's kind of weird. They're cute little bags. I'll show you. Like they're cute little bags for little kids, but or very into Snoopy Gold. Does Snoopy have adult fans? Associate Effective says, enjoy your newfound love for Snoopy bags. And the third top guided comment is from Red Hot Summer Day. And it says, it's so weird that it has your name on it. I would contact the seller to see if they can give more info on the order, maybe, or maybe Poshmark. Someone suggests looking themselves up on Family Tree now and search themselves. I don't know what that all would entail. I don't know if that, because she said they're using her username, so why would they be doing that? How would that be on there? Somehow I think somebody's ordering stuff kind of on her account, but with their own credit card, expecting it to come to them, and then they're not changing the address. and it's going to her. We did have a span of time, more than weeks, where we would get the lady up the streets, Uber Eats, DoorDash and stuff. Uber Eats, DoorDash, her magazines, um, her other packages. She had our address somehow hooked to her credit card. I told my husband, I said, if we get one more DoorDash, we're taking it. He finally went and talked to her, and it still took a couple of weeks for her to figure out how to change it, but it seems to have stopped. So for quite a while, it's been stopped. But she lives alone. Well, she doesn't live alone. Her husband's out of town a lot, and she works from home. So she doesn't want to cook, and I can understand that. I don't want to cook either. My husband not gonna be home. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled "Need Merits to Go to Prom. Let Me Help." My youngest is in year 11, UK, last year of high school, and the school is having a prom for the leavers. While I don't agree with yet another Americanism finding its way over here, I'll calm down. It's just a party. I know my daughter's looking forward to it, and that now it is her turn. This year, however, the school changed the rules so that students have to earn their way to a ticket. Now that's just wrong. That's just wrong. With a certain amount of merits given by the teachers. Stupid, idiotic, and frankly unfair. It is unfair because you get teachers that don't like a certain kid and they won't cooperate no matter what you do. There are mean teachers out there. Students have kicked up a fuss, but the school management is holding firm on it. Teachers, not so much. Just yesterday, my daughter was given merits by different teachers because your hair looks great. That's a dumb reason to have merits. For the way you walked through that door, and because she gave her friend a high five for getting an answer right. Others have been getting merits for equally simple and silly things, so the merits given are overflowing. That's good. That's good. I'm glad these teachers are maliciously complying to this. Guess everybody went to got to go to the ball after all. Good. Fire Opal says, this is a great way to make the students organize their own prom and ignore the school one. Celebrating the last year of school should be about finishing high school, not another box ticking exercise. Well, I mean, I guess you could call a prom a box ticking exercise, but it's a celebration. Get over yourself. The only problem is with whose money. Well, the kids can pay for that. During COVID, there were kids who made up their own proms. I know because I saw one of them happening. Talc 88 says the teachers are protesting in silence. And Fired Foo says, old teacher here who remembers the before times. The deep unspoken purpose of prom is behavior management. When I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, behavior at the end of the final term got problematic. Yeah, you get senioritis really bad. You would get a gang behavior from kids who are about to leave on the last couple of days. Well, that's too bad because that never happened in our school. Roaming the halls, flower bombs, egging people, younger kids mainly. Vandalism of cars and property, just stupid teenage stuff of the worst sort. Why were they getting away with this? In my school, I mean, we did way minor things than that, and they would threaten not to let us walk. My friends were threatened to not walk in prom because they I said, okay, so our school had a courtyard. One side of the courtyard was um the cafeteria, and then there were, the other three sides were classrooms, I believe. Classrooms are hallways. And they went in. They somehow got in the courtyard. I'm not sure how they got in there. I was not privy to this. And they TP'd the courtyard. And there was about 8 kids, I think, that did it. And they were threatened that they wouldn't be able to walk for graduation, which is stupid. Like, all they did was a prank. It was a minor prank. It's not even a big deal. Other pranks that we did. couple years before I graduated, the guys got together and put a VW bug on top of the school gym. So we got into school one day and there was a car on top of the school. That was great. Didn't hurt anything. My class, as well as the TPing, we let a herd of pigs into the school. It was a rural school. There were a lot of farm kids. One guy brought his truck full of pigs and let it out in the hallway. Was that the first time we had a pig in school? We had a pet pig for a little while. Were doing a little Abner for the play, and we had a pet pig in the classroom. So yeah, it was fun. It was way fun. My kids tried to sell the school. They made a sign up in my garage. It said "School for sale, call," and they had the office phone number. A lot of people will like do the principal's home phone number or something like that. No, they just did the office phone number to the high school. It was up for I think maybe 3 hours before they took it down. They took it in the middle of the night. Well, they got up really, really early one morning before 6 o'clock, drove it up to the high school. And I mean, this was a big sign. I'll see if I can find it. It's, people loved it. And it was harmless. Like, nobody got hurt. There was a little bit of lawn dug up. Big deal. It's Michigan. It'll grow back. But yeah, my daughter was a sophomore at the time. Or no, she was a freshman, and she stenciled it for them because she's really artistic. Good time I had for all, and those kids still talk about it to this day. Well, I remember when we tried to sell the school. They're great. It's fun. Get over yourselves. But nothing like this flower bombing and egging people. No vandalism. I mean, unless you consider tape vandalism, and I don't. Schools tried exclusions to closing a day early to year 11 without notice, but it all leaves a bad taste, yes. And then someone had the genius idea to turn it into a celebration with a big dress up party where you can show off how adult you are. Now there's a school related event that everyone more or less wants to go to, which is not related to academics. The end of each term, behavior is transformed because you don't want to miss the party of the year. Positivity reigns and behavior is no longer an issue for the school. Exactly. It's a party, it's a privilege to go to. If you don't behave, you don't get to go. Most people behave themselves. Ann Goff says, good point. I first heard about prom was my niece and nephew 15 to 20 years ago. I don't remember much trouble, but the odd individual did something stupid. People left quietly over months after the last exam between mid-May and the end of June. That's weird. There were not too many formal lessons once the exam started. I remember math was 2 papers, and after the first one, I remember our teacher giving us right bollocking for doing so poorly. A few of the guys who left school early got motorbikes, 50 cc's, and would race the school buses showing off. Some were okay, and others were really, really slow on the big hills. There was a lot of piss taking if they got overtaken or by the bus that couldn't keep up. Well, that seems dangerous. Next, we have Evil Buildings, and it is entitled Reading Between the Lines, See Through Church in Limburg, Belgium. That's pretty interesting, at least. And there's the See Through Church. I imagine at some angle, it's all got to look put together. That'd be my guess. It's actually kind of cool. Sasha says they were there once, and it was a nice monument, especially from the inside. He said it's not big, it's more chapel-sized. It was built by an artist as a specific artwork to be put in the countryside, and it has a virtuous twin, which is white. Oh. Get it up here so you can see it. It does have a twin. Look at that. It's white and it's vertical rather than horizontal. It's kind of cool. Aggravating Sweet says somehow I expected a more romantic name for this virtuous twin. I didn't even look at what the name was. I don't really care that much. Next, we have AITAH. It's entitled AITAH for calling my wife's friend's dating technique idiotic. Probably not. My male 38, wife female 34, and some of her friends over for dinner, and we all are talking about this and that. One of her friends, female 32, starts talking about how she can't find any good men to stick around. My wife and her friends are sympathetic. We keep talking about her and her latest dates, and she starts talking about her dating technique. This is essentially to show as little interest as possible and to ghost guys she likes, since she wants them to fight for her. Told you it probably wasn't idiotic. Especially nowadays when no means no. Guys are not going to pursue you like they used to, and they shouldn't. Giving in is not the same as an enthusiastic yes. I laugh and say that's plain stupid, and of course she does not find any good men since only the bad ones will actually do that. Like good guys who respect you will never keep chasing you if you send out the signal that you don't want them. Exactly. I'm on the spectrum and can have a hard time realizing when people are upset, so my wife bumped me and told me to shut up. Later, everyone left. She told me she agreed with me, but I didn't need to be so blunt about it. So AITAH. No, you're not. So this is edit. So this blew up more than I thought it would. I've tried to read most comments, but it's just too many at the moment of writing, and which is 1.7 thousand, which is just wow. Most of you say I'm NTA, but I will admit that I could have framed it better. No, no, no. Idiots like that don't need it framed better. She doing something stupid. She should be called out on it, especially by her friends. If you're a friend and somebody's doing something stupid, tell them so. I'm on the spectrum, but I'm under the firm belief that while it might be explained while I would put my foot in my mouth, it does not excuse it. You didn't. I showed this post to my wife since some of the comments made me wonder some things. First being if they never told her this themselves, since it's kind of a dick move on their part. Yes. She said they have, although not as bluntly as I did. It's just saying that it would never work as she thought it would be, but she keeps doing it. Apparently, 3 years ago, she messed up royally on her long term relationship of 4 years. They had a fight and she went out to get some drinks to cool off, and in her anger, she slept with another guy. I asked her if she knew if she was really drunk when it happened. Since it does not excuse her actions, I would make her more susceptible to manipulation from bad eggs. According to her friend, she was not drunk, just in an awful place mentally and wanted to punish him. Since then, she felt extremely guilty and told him, and he dumped her. Since then, she has not had nothing but one night stands and short term flings from not so good guys. The best only lasted 4 months, but due to bad communication or her way of dating, he thought they were friends with benefits and she thought they were a couple. So when she found out he was sleeping with other people, she was heartbroken. Miscommunication. Miscommunication. I mean, that, if he wanted to be in a couple, that could have been worked out because that's just a miscommunication. He wasn't really cheating because they were clearly not in a relationship like she thought. She's a really sweet person, bubbly and kind, and I think she just has some kind of trauma from her long-term ending the way it did. My wife does not know if she uses this technique before that relationship or if she started after. Anyway, I hope she stops going about it that way and finds someone good. I've told my wife to tell her I'm sorry for the way I phrased it. Also, thanks for the awards. Never got those before and got 12 rewards. um, Hold fast. NTA. If yes means yes, then it's fully accepted throughout society, then playing hard to get nonsense needs to die. 100% what I said. Cotton Tran says, if anything, OP saved the wife's friend from a type of toxic positivity that would lead her life into a lifetime of loneliness without even knowing why. I'm only sorry that the wife and her friends aren't the ones calling her out. They aren't very good friends. And Samiton Ho answers and don't want to hear solutions. They want someone to agree with them. My wife complains a lot about something I can do in 15 minutes on a computer. When I ask her to help, she tells me she doesn't need my help. She just wants me to agree. Or she complains about job and doesn't listen to my suggestions. Same for a bunch of women I know. Okay. I think this is a woman saying that she's got a man's mentality. We don't need you to fix it. We just need you to listen. Don't need you to fix it. We just need you to listen. The quiet hunter says someone has to tell her her friends were not sympathetic or kind or very clear in their communication, apparently. They're allowing her to fail as a human being. Her lack of EQ is so profound that perhaps she should not establish a meaningful relationship. NTA. Reason Phenom says we actually had to stop being friends with someone over this exact behavior. My friend spent over a year being sympathetic while this friend complained on a weekly basis about guys from Tinder. She would let these guys into her life because she said they were serious, and then she was shocked when they ghosted her after sex. It was the same cycle every time. I finally snapped because my wife was exhausted and I was tired of hearing about it. I told her bluntly that it is because she is superficial and only cares about looks. I asked her what she really expected from guys on Tinder who were also only looking for someone based on their appearance. Yeah, if you want a long-term relationship, Tinder is not the place. Tinder is a hookup place. It is not the place for a long-term relationship to form out of. If you get there, it's not the place to go for that. Bumble used to be good, but I don't know how good it is anymore because Bumble, the girls used to pick who they wanted, and I think they changed that. That's where my son found his girlfriend is on Bumble. A few mad midgets. That's disgusting. Why are you calling yourself that? That's an insult. That's a pejorative. You should not be using that. Not at all. Any self-respecting man will take the hit and move on, and only the toxic waste of humanity will keep pushing. It's a major red flag of the can't accept no. Exactly. Pudstar says, not to mention at 32, your dating circles get smaller. Men around her age and older just don't want games. Are you interested? Okay, cool. On to the next. Yeah, don't play games with people. It's silly. Stop it. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell and is entitled Neighbor Harassing Me for a Problem They Caused. I have a flower bed border from the back of my house to the front and in between homes. The neighbor next door, a renter, has lived there for 8+ years and nothing but problems. My camera picked up their dog using the bathroom on my flower bed. I thought I would do things the neighborly way and talk to them. Big mistake. They said, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to keep your dog away from my freaking flowers, dude. With an attitude when I told him the dog was using my yard. I told him not to let the dog use my yard. Property is fenced in the back, legally cannot fence this side and front at all. Their landlord did not put up a gate or any fencing on their side, so they just let the dogs out and then run all over the street barking in people's yards. No, you cannot let your dogs out like that. Unleashed dog is illegal in most places. After I talked to them, I found numerous piles of dog poop. I called animal control and they said they can go talk to them. Animal control follows through. Shocker. I purchased an ultrasound animal repellent box and put it out. Yesterday, the neighbor goes to my camera and is screaming and pointing, saying, winging bitch over and over right next to my living room window, which is between the two houses. I call the cops. They come out. They say the neighbor was off and very respectful to them on the phone. I asked how they knew who it was, and the neighbor called them around the time I did, saying I was trying to poison their dogs with my ultrasonic device and camera. The cops say it's my property and I can put up whatever I want to protect it. I told them I want harassment charges because they were using my camera to harass me. They said the prosecutor wants you to be harassed 3 times before you can file charges. WTH. They go talk to her again. Doorbell rings and I thought it was them, but it was the neighbor. They want to talk and I said, Only nicely. Nope. Begins to scream and yell again and would just not understand. It's my property. I paid for it and there's a lot of money invested in my yard. I tell them to leave and they won't go. Cops tell them to leave. Then they go over to their driveway and continue screaming and yelling, and the cops tell them to stop or they will be cited for violating noise ordinance. They don't stop, so the cops tell them they would be arrested. Eventually, they stop. Cops should have just arrested them at that point. The landlord for the house is a lawyer and does not seem to care about what kind of people they put in their houses. I've lived in my house 8 years, so my mortgage is low. Oh, sorry, 20 years, so my mortgage is low. Your mortgage should be close to paid off. Aren't you not paying extra on your mortgage, ma'am? If I bought another house or even moved to an apartment, I would pay double what I pay now. It's just BS that people want to get mad at me for a problem they created. They'll leave. They'll leave eventually. Martha, there a leash law where you live? It's so called with the authorities every time the dog is out roaming. If ask if camera proof is accepted, fines and dog catchers are a deterrent. The OP says there is a no using the bathroom in other people's yards or ordinance. Animal control told them that all, but they were mad that I called animal control on them because they wouldn't stop letting the dogs run loose. A few variation answers her. As a dog owner, I'm sorry. They are crappy dog owners and neighbors. Hopefully, with enough repeated calls to animal control, they'll be forced to surrender their dogs and the dogs can get a better life with better owners. OP says one of the people in the home, a relative somehow, abuses the dogs when the owner is away, smacks it and curses at it. Okay, get that on camera. I wanted to mention it to them because I don't think the pet owner knows what's going on, but they're so moody. I figured they'd just get mad over that too. I don't actually see it with my own eyes because I hear it going on from my backyard, which is fenced, and don't I don't have pictures or videos to support it. I just hear what's going on and can kind of see it through the fence slats. These people are just terrible. Okay, you can still film it because audio evidence, you know how you have eyewitness evidence? That's called ear witness evidence, and it can be supported. Ear witness evidence is a perfectly acceptable evidence in court. You can say what you heard, and you can record what you heard. Sticks the Cat has a second top comment, and they say they are truly an NFH, neighbors from hell. The poor pet owners to allow their pets to roam free. The ultrasonic devices were a smart, pet-friendly way to keep the dogs off your property. I would use one myself, but I don't want to scare off the bunnies that feed our plants. Only the neighbor from hell's dog. And then they say you can try defensive planting, and they have a picture of 7 plants dog hate. To deter dogs, plant strongly scented herbs and prickly shrubs like lavender, citronella, rosemary, and rue, which repel them with their intense aroma. Other effective odor-based deterrents include marigolds, curry, and the sacred cat plant, Coleus canina. These, along with thorny, low-lying shrubs, create a natural barrier. Marigolds all also keep deer away. I wonder if the other ones will too. Hopeful Phrase says, yeah, no, save yourself the effort with lavender. All the dogs I know love rolling around in it, and it's hardly a deterrent. Thinks rosemary and other herbs are super interesting. Thorny or bushy might work, depending on the dog. One dog I know adores smelling roses and don't mind the thorns. What is needed is some sort of boundary that makes it less likely the dog will come into your garden. I'd say put up rhododendron bushes and keep them tight so it's harder to get past them than smelly stuff for the effort and return on investment. Perhaps if the dogs do not like water motion activated sprinklers would work. And the third top rated comment is put up a warning sign about pesticide used in the garden that is dangerous to pets. And it's noon everywhere answers. Don't even need that. OP needs to sprinkle cayenne pepper in the garden. That might work. Chicken owners have used it for years to repel critters from feed. It works great to repel dogs from the garden. It's safe and only irritates the dog. It does not hurt it, unlike ultrasound devices, which will not be irritated The dog will not be irritated constantly. Not if you have it on a motion sensor. Only turns on when the dogs are out there. Next, we have benign existence and isn't tired. My math teacher counted to 10 and got to 6, 7, and nobody reacted at all. The fad is fading. Hallelujah. I'm a Gen Z guy who does not like this meme at all. To be clear, I don't mind 99% of new slang. I love the uses of cook and lore. I watch etymology nerd on YouTube religiously, and it's just the 6, 7 reaction and literally stops the conversation if any party finds the meme funny. Oh, that's good news. Is Skibbity Toilet still around? Because I kind of like that one, especially when you put in Ohio, because I'm from Michigan. Second phase is the top rated comment. It says, representation of the International Coalition of Dads here. You're welcome. I've never seen us come together so strongly as we did on this one. Everyone of us hated the 6, 7 nonsense. At first, we resisted. Then, one by one, we started to allow it and even encourage it. I recall the team float in our town's parade. The dads were leading the cheer, and the crowd was calling back. And then we snapped into action. We all started the initiatives and doing things like ourselves, like Doc Holliday at the OK Corral. I could snap off half a dozen 6, 7s before any kid could nearby even realize they were there. Every other dad I met was doing the same thing. It's like a dad protest. Practically overnight, there was no longer cool, and it had run its course. We had claimed it as our own, and now the kids wanted nothing to do with it. Another strong win for the ICD. Connector Rhubarb says, This is the way. This is the way. I said skibbity toilet, and my teen shrunk into cringe to the point where I couldn't find a mission accomplished. He has not said it since. This is how you get your kids to not say stuff. You just start saying it yourself. It's no longer cool. You don't even know what it needs to mean. You don't even need to know what it means. It's true. As a highly decorated member of the ICD, having mastered the art of parenting, Connect Rhubarb is a highly decorated member of the ICD, having mastered the art of parenting teenagers, while many of the rest of us struggle with elementary level. Sonig says, as a mom, I said high key to my kids to mean something the opposite of low key. Oh, the look of horror I got from him. Loved it. High key is also a slang. Sorry, a slang term. Eastjorn or the OP says something about cooking lore again, and Saint Hockey Girl says there's a new use of lore, and Acid Wash Idiot says new lore unlocked. OP says based off the use of the term video games, yeah, for as long as I could remember, there was Zelda lore and Hollow Knight lore videos on YouTube. A couple of years back, people started using it for real life. When your dad tells you a story from your childhood called dad lore, the other commenter said lore, the lore of the word lore, the lore of the word lore. I guess I got ant lore this weekend. I found out some stories. Ooh. It was a very interesting conversation. Next is from Found Satan and is entitled Found Him. And Oliver Kahn once played 9-year-old kids. For every penalty scored by the kids, the money went to charity. Kahn saved every single penalty. Wow. Wow. That's not how you do it, Oliver. You're supposed to miss them all. Dave says, in Germany, we have a joke about Oliver Kahn. There's a toddler playing unattended on a high balcony, and people are watching in fear below. And really, the child falls into what seems like certain death, but at the last moment, Oliver Kahn, who happened to be in the crowd, makes a diving catch to save the toddler. People break out in cheers. Con stoically bounces the baby twice on the floor and does a drop kick. That seems to track. Half a Youper. Only half a Youper? I'm a troll, so what do I know? When I played my nephew in Mario Kart, I would always try my best and I'd beat him every time. The day he actually beat me with his own skill, I didn't let him win. He exploded with happiness. He threw his controller down and ran around the house saying, I beat Uncle Youper. He accomplished what he never thought he could do. I mean, yeah, I'm not for giving up games. I lose it enough of them. Temporary Pool says later he donated money himself. I believe. The man just hates losing. OP says yes, he did. Some say he even donated the double the amount promised or even more. Well, that makes it okay then. That makes it that restored my faith in humanity. Just no Mill. Mill only came to feed my husband. My mother-in-law came over to cook for my husband. I just gave birth and have been experiencing dizziness and lightheadedness. I even fainted at the hospital after delivery. I hope you get checked out, Tony. Since then, I've been extremely sensitive to heat. I'm basically surviving breastfeeding and pumping by keeping the AC and fan on and eating popsicles all day. Breastfeeding has been hard, but I'm still doing it. Good for you. Good for you. You're giving it the old college try, as we call it. Instead of asking me what I want to eat or drink, considering I'm the one who just gave birth and I need to drink so much water, she's cooking all of my husband's favorite meals. She hasn't gotten me eh, not even water while I'm pumping. That's rude. If I was going over to my daughter-in-law's house to after she gave birth to help take care of people, I would be asking her what she wanted because she's the one that just gave birth. Matter of fact, we did take a pizza once to the hospital after she gave birth. We weren't allowed to go in because it was COVID, but we wanted to do something. So we took him a pizza. My son come out and got it because she loves pizza. It's her favorite. If she had a different favorite, we'd have gotten that for her. Of course, he's enjoying his mom's cooking, and I'm not upset that he's eating. I'm upset that because she's making our small home extremely hot with all the cooking. When you walk in the kitchen, it's very hot from everything she's preparing. She's cooking cultural food from her country, and the smell's very strong. The whole place smells like it. It feels heavy and overwhelming, even in the fan on, and the heat and smell linger. My clothes smell, and the house feels hot and stuffy. The baby has even been sneezing. um, where's your mom, honey? I'm trying not to criticize her food before giving birth, and I love trying foods from all over the world, but right now I don't feel well. I can't tolerate the meals that make me sweat, and I feel overstimulated by her being here, especially when it feels like she's the only one here to cook for she's only here to cook for my husband. I already told her that I don't like this food she keeps making, but she continues to cook it. She says that when a woman gives birth, she has to eat this kind of food. But I'm not even eating it. It's just them enjoying it. If my mom came, she loves to cook too. She would make sure to cook what everyone likes, not just me. No, if you just gave birth, you'd get the food that you want. Exciting Wolverine says, I see a medical professional second. I would approach this kindly, making sure my husband is present to hear what would say. I love how much you care about your son and you're an amazing cook. I'm not sure why, but I feel very ill after delivering the baby. The smell of any strong food is making me ill. I apologize, and I know this is a hard thing to ask, but for the sake of my health and just temporarily, can you stop making the dishes? If you can't, can you make them and eat them somewhere else? This will only be temporary until I feel better. Any response, either then yes, and I would take the baby to leave your mother's for a little bit. Better, honestly, I'd go nuclear. I'm not a bad influence, so I don't do that last thing. Oh, I'm a bad influence, so don't do that last thing. No, sometimes you gotta go nuclear. Brent Bent says, go to your kitchen and throw away all the spicy spices. Do it whenever those spices reappear. Yeah. Passive aggressive, but yeah. London Jade said, you need to get checked out. It sounds like your blood pressure is low. Call your OB and let them know your symptoms and go to your local ER. You don't want to risk fainting with checked out for that. I've never even heard of that. And I'm a mom, so I know moms. Weighing all these fake bills. And here is what he's talking about. And it's really stupid. It's a stupid Christian thing. God gave us the Ten Commandments as a standard of worship. I'm not this dumb. I wonder what the URL tracked planet. I mean, it's not a chick track. That's obnoxious. I hate getting that. Imagine if you're stuck in a retail job because no one else hires. You were saving for college, you're just trying to live, but then all of a sudden you see a fake dollar bill, and part of you thinks, well, at least it's some money to help me out. But nope, it's fake with some BS religious stuff on the back. I clean bathrooms nearly every day when I come to my job. I work my butt off to get $300 to $400 a week. I get slight angst from some of my coworkers and managers, and I have pisses me off so bad. Put this on a toilet and hand dryer beyond pisses me off, especially when I just cleaned a bathroom. Yeah, you want this fake million? Too bad. Here's some religion. Like, if you do this, wang you. I mean, I don't even think that is that even a denomination. I don't think we have 100 we have $1 million bills. Butter Drake says, you know, the way they spread their gospel by giving you a fake bill is really hypocritical when saying how awful liars are. Quantum, I'm not saying the rest of that. Quantum says, religion is just hypocrisy and confirmation bias rolled up a million times like a moldy hubba hubba bubba. A moldy hubba bubba is funny. Jade the dog says, I work as a server and I've had people tip with these. Wang these people. Yes, don't tip with that. Jeez. Mark Hoare says, how dare you be working on Sunday? Who would serve their food? And Jay Busnut says, they have their own meme, their own little thing they made up. It's kind of funny. Attend one of their church services and put it in the collection plate. Yes, do that. You have to deface it first, or they'll just reuse it. I just got one on my car and it says return to the church so they could reuse it. I wanted to, but the address was across the freaking state of New York. Alicam says burn it halfway and then post it back. It would definitely be worth it. Cut it in half, send half of it, and then like 3 years later send the other half. To be sent on so and so 2029. I'm gonna have to take a break for a minute. I shall return momentarily. This is from Am I the Devil and is entitled Not OOP's House, Not OOP's Money. From Am I the A-hole? AITA for calling an HVAC tech instead of letting my girlfriend repair it. I, 29 male, am a musician. Not a magician, a musician. My girlfriend, 28, female, is a software engineer. She studied electrical engineering before switching to software. And ever since, she kind of thinks she knows everything about anything remotely technical. Well, she probably knows a lot more than you do. We've been having issues with the mini split heat pump system in the house she owns. Okay, no, her house. Do I have I do have my flags. Many flags. I don't know. Whoa. It stopped heating properly and was throwing error codes. She immediately wanted to open the unit herself and take a look inside. I wasn't comfortable with that because HVAC systems tend to deal with high voltage and refrigerant, and if something goes wrong, you're looking at a huge repair bill. So I called a professional HVAC tech, a friend of a friend, to come out and check it. When the tech came out, he took the unit apart, poked around for a bit, and said the issue was probably a refrigerant leak somewhere in the system and that the control board was acting up because of it. He also said the coal unit is old and no longer supported by the manufacturer, so replacement parts aren't readily available, and that we should would plan to replace the whole system eventually. He did not do any pressure tests or anything, just a visual inspection and some quick checks and left it at that. I mean, if you can get somebody to do it for free. After he left, my girlfriend insisted we leave the control board exposed and not close the unit because she wanted to inspect it herself. She went online, found some pirated service manuals and board schematics, and started testing the board with a multimeter. She claimed the technician text was actually leaking. Replacing an electrical component would not magically make the system heat again, and she is correct on that. One has nothing to do with the other. She ended up identifying a failed electronic electronic elect, electrolytic capacitor on the control board and offered a replacement one and ordered a replacement one. When it arrived, she soldered it herself. The system turned back on and is now heating like normal. Good for her. Now she's acting like this. She proves the HVAC guy was completely wrong. And he was. And that I was wrong for calling him in the first place. She also insisted that I pay for the HVAC visit since he misdiagnosed it, even though she owns the house and I'm still benefited from having someone come out and look. No, you put it on yourself to have somebody come and look at it. That is on you to pay for it. She wanted to do it. She would have found that lickety split and fixed it the same exact way. No, no, not cool. I'm still uneasy about it. Oh my God. This guy. Is it because she's a girl? Is it because she's a girl that you don't think she can do her own repair work? I bet you it is. She's also smarter than him, as evidenced by the amount of college she has. I'm still uneasy about it. Just because it works now does not mean it's actually fixed long term. Or it is fixed long term. You don't know that either. You're not an electrical engineer, sir. To me, this feels like forcing a failing system to limp along instead of addressing the real issue. She's not an HVAC tech or a licensed electrician. She works on computers all day. Electrical engineering, oh my God. She's also very girly and normally super careful about her appearance. Oh, I can't with this guy. Oh my God. What does your appearance have to do with your intelligence? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. She like freaks out on breaking a nail or ruining her manicure. It makes it even harder for me to take her seriously when she is suddenly elbow deep in wiring and soldering irons. Sir, I cannot take you seriously. You're a musician. Get in your lane. Get in your lane. Now she's mad at me for not trusting her competence, as she should be, and says I do not respect her technical background. I feel like I'm just being cautious about safety and reliability. You're not. Humble Deer says is a top rated comment. Quotes. She kind of thinks she knows everything about anything remotely technical. And then quotes again. She ended up identifying a failed electrolytic capacitor on the control panel, ordered a replacement one. When it arrived, she soldered it herself. The system turned back on, is now heating like normal. And they say, it sounds like she's competent at troubleshooting, which is the opposite of thinking she knows everything. I really want to know if musician is code for unemployed here. hmm Martin isn't murder. I don't know what that means. Misogyny is alive in OP. Holy Wang. He is very capable girlfriend and wanted to fix her own issue in the home that she owns. He went around her to have some friend come over who ended up being wrong. I mean, she's feminine and pretty, so he couldn't possibly have any idea what to do despite her engineering background. They actually put slash S in there, but I don't think it was needed. I hope she ditches OP, kicks his ass out, and eventually finds a partner who appreciates her, weighing him. Free Fortuna says, no, you don't understand. She likes to make her hair and nails look nice. Thus, she clearly is incompetent. Seriously, this is basic logic, folks. Martin answers, I'm an M&A attorney. The number of times someone has assumed that I'm an assistant or a paralegal based on being a woman and my appearance is wicked obnoxious. My mentor, who is a partner at my firm, has told me stories about being asked not to wear pantsuits when she first started practicing. 2026 or 1950. Kitchen name says, don't go to the women in engineering sub. Oh, I can imagine. I used to work at GM. I can imagine. I'm an engineer and graduated circa 1980 and saw a lot. Oh, graduated 1980? Saw a lot of misogyny, harassment, and discrimination. I'm not surprised. That still goes on. I'm retired now and thought I'd check out the sub reading because nothing has changed in 45 years. My blood pressure cannot handle reading the sub. That's yeah, I'm sorry. And that's the way it is. And these MAGA men are not helping anything. OOP girlfriend, or this is the OP, not the OOP. OOP's girlfriend owns the house, not him. OOP still insisted on calling the tech OOP's friend, even though OOP's girlfriend didn't want him to. OOP does not want himself because girlfriend owns the house and still benefited from having someone take out. No, she didn't. What benefit did she have? Because she found the problem herself and fixed it herself. So what benefit did she have? Even though it sounds like tech friend may have misdiagnosed the issue. So there was actually no benefit to girlfriend. Exactly. Charmaine KB says, and implying because she's girly that there's no way her fix would last long, besides the fact that he actually said that. I hope this gets back to OOP's girlfriend. I really do. Deleted said, I now hate the word uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable with that. Too bad. Learn to be resilient. Not all feelings are valid. Unholy hot dog says, I also hate unsafe because it's so often used to try and make uncomfortable sound like a real issue. Yeah, there are people who overuse the words uncomfortable and safe for sure. This is from Petty Revenge, and it's entitled, You Should Teach Your Kids to, 1, clean up after themselves, and 2, treat customer service workers with respect. Ooh, this sounds good. It sounds like we have some entitled kids here. When I was a much younger man, I worked as a shift manager at McDonald's in the UK. One day there was a youngish mother with 3 kids in the restaurant, probably ranging from 8 to 13. They were running riot, which is annoying but fine. It was only when they left that I realized the extent of the state they left in. The girl working in the dining area came up to me looking a bit pissed off and said I might want to get someone to come over here as it's going to take a while. Come to cover her as this is going to take a while. I went to take a look and told her instead that I'd take care of it, as I feel bad for her. The entire table was littered with food and empty boxes. That's not a big deal. I never expected people to clear their tables. It's a McDonald's. They should be, and you should be going behind them. However, what the kids had done was also smear ketchup all over the seats and the wall. This wasn't accidental. You could see their handprints where they tried to write things in the sauce. And I found that they had also chewed their fries and then spat them out and stuck it on the side of the table. Mother just watched them do that and said not a word. What is with this woman? Right there in the middle of the table, amongst the sauce packet, half-eaten burgers, and shredded Happy Meal boxes, was a small purse and 4 cinema tickets. I grabbed the bin bag and swept the entire lot. Food, trash, cinema tickets, everything. And then I cleared a couple of more tables and added the contents of one food waste bins from the kitchen and took it out the back door, suddenly marking the specific bag so I'd know which one it was. 45 minutes later, Mom and the kids come storming back in the restaurant, and she's looking a little panicky. She explains what she's lost, to which I reply something along the lines of, I'm sorry, the table is just such a mess, there was no way I'd have been able to spot any personal items amongst it. I cleared this area myself. I can show you exactly which bin bag it was in. We're much quieter now, so I immediately set the lobby girl on lunch so that there would be no way she'd be guilted into helping. The mom was seething with rage and told me I should go through it for her. Oh, hell no. You are so scatterbrained that you cannot control your children. You cannot keep track of your stuff. I have lost purses in places before, so I know how that feels. um, but I would never expect anybody to go through it for me. That's ridiculous. I refused, very bluntly telling her it's not my problem. Knowing the movie started soon, I reminded her that she didn't have much time to wait for somebody else to do it, and I went back inside. I waited a while and came back out, and she was digging through the trash in the bin area, hands covered in soft and half-chewed food. I said in the chirpiest voice I could, your children purposefully make a mess. Sandy says this was so satisfying to read. Midnight Sun said it certainly cut the mustard. It's mustard. Mustard. Himit Sumono says, let your kid run wild and I'll catch up. It'll catch up with you. I'm leaving now. Frosty Pie says, I've actually had people tell me not to bother cleaning after my 14-month-old who has discovered throwing things because it's a server's job. Like, no, it isn't. They didn't birth this mess making gremlin. I went red and I noticed the look of WTF on my face. I absolutely hate leaving a mess behind. I mean, a certain amount of mess is to be expected, especially with kids, but yeah, you at least try to clean up as much as you can. Artemis says, mess making gremlin, lol, you're my kind of parent. Fairy Princess says, as a service person, thank you, and I commend you on shooting the others down and calling them out. It is more appreciated than you could ever know. Zuki says, I babysat for a family for years, and their oldest son was such a joy to watch. Super quiet, was very polite, and just a happy kid. They ended up having their miracle baby after them, and he was just a menace. Sounds like my grandkids. The older kid would shut down and shrink when I was there because the world would revolve around his brother, undeservedly so. I'd keep the second one alive, but I made time for the older one. I eventually got the job at a gas station, and the parents' job had changed, so they didn't need me anymore. Years later, the younger one came in with a friend and made a huge mess at the slushy machine. I was laughing with his friend about me getting paid to clean it. Didn't realize who I was. Then I got to the counter. I asked him about his parents and brother. Sure, his dad specifically would be thrilled to find out he thought it was still my job to pick up after him. His dad wasn't as fanatical about his miracle status, and the dad did what he could to mitigate the crazy. I've never seen someone calculate their options before going back to begrudgingly clean their own mess. Some people really need to be humbled. On the one thing, that poor kid, and on the other hand, dang that kid. Kid need a lesson. Kid got a lesson. Hopefully he won't do that again to anybody. This is from entitled people. Like we haven't just had like three entitled people already. It's titled "My Bio Mom Who Gave Me Up is Now Pulling the But I'm Your Mother card." No, 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 no. You do not get to do that. You do not get to do that. I was adopted at birth in a closed adoption. I never had a relationship with my birth family ever. I know very little about them, and that's the way I like it. That's fine. Everybody has their preferences on that. My little sister, who's also adopted but not blood related to me, has been being a hot mess, whole other story, and has been trying to get my brother and I cannot to connect to contact our bio families, and we both don't want to. We're all adopted but not blood related to each other. So anyway, she gets in contact with my bio mom and gives her my number, and she starts texting me. Don't give out other people's. I was in a similar situation where a guy contacted me, turned out to be my cousin, um, to contact his birth family, which is also my birth family. um, and he said he wanted her a certain cousin's number, and I said, I'm not comfortable giving you her number, but if you give me your number, if you're comfortable with me having your number, I will give her your number and then she can call you. And that's how you do that. Because that's put it in the person who's trying into the contactees realm, and they can decide whether they want to talk to this person or not. Because they don't have to. It's perfectly fine if they're not. And they kept insisting there was no way this guy was the person's was his bio mom's kid. He was. DNA don't usually lie. And it turned out that they finally worked out that the time where she would have been pregnant was a time that they didn't really have contact with her for a reason. She was hiding. Context is she has an older and younger kids that she kept. I don't know why I was adopted out, but my theory was something to do with my bio dad, like I was an affair baby or she had a new boyfriend or something like that. Most of her kids don't have the same dad from what I do know, but I don't know for sure and I don't care. Not like I'll ever get a straight answer out anyway. So again, this woman gave me away. You get a straight answer from your aunt. I'm just saying. So anyway, this woman gave me away. Didn't push for a relationship until I was an adult. And then here's the best part. After trying to butter me up by saying a bunch of BS, she drumroll asked me for money. No, absolutely not. Ma'am, you did not have money for me. I did not have money for you. Yeah, of course she did. I said no, and she said, but I'm your mother. We're family. No, the F we're not. The woman who raised me is my mother. The woman who read to me bedtime stories and talked me through breakups and took me to doctor's appointments is my mother. You do not get to give me away and then think I owe you something because I'm blood related to you. I'm actually so shocked that she even had the balls to ask. That's bold. I'm your mother. I actually gagged. Lisa Knows Bless says block her. Block your sister if you have to. I changed my phone number and you own your vagina of origin, nothing. Yes, exactly. LP says vagina of origin is hilarious. I did block her and I'm still just taken aback. Not the bad one says, at least now you know. She's a crappy person. You were lucky she gave you up to be raised by good hearted people. Now you know you will never have to wonder anymore. That's true too. It was a win win. Change username says, your sister's an a hole. Stefferdiddle says, I'm curious about how the sister was not of the same bio mother, was able to get information on closed adoption totally unrelated to herself. And OP says, we did one of those ancestry DNA things a few years ago for fun. Oopsie. I just want to know if I was French or something. My brother has a darker story. Unfortunately, it's all very messy. Terrible Park says, spill. Is he related to a serial killer? OP says no, he was adopted as a kid and his parents lost their rights to him by being criminal abuser scumbags. He unfortunately remembers them because he was old enough to. Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry, OP's brother. That stinks. Original UAV says no is a complete sentence. Weighing off, that's another one. Delmon Catcher says, personally, I'm a big fan of weighing off. It has all the benefits of no, but conveys so much more. All right. Next, we have Murdered by Words. And it is entitled, Why Are All History Teachers Left Wing? Because we know history, that's why. And we went to college and got more knowledge. Never Rose says, Why are all history teachers left wing? What's the explanation? Arquistic says, Because they studied history. That's about the long and the short. Because we're history majors. Yes, I do have a degree in history, so. Dr. Disaster says it's almost like those who learn from the past are more inclined to want to avoid repeating atrocities. Are you laughing? Says, yep. But somehow the atrocities keep on happening and the wrong people end up back in power. Dr. Disaster answers again. Putting them in power are too stupid and or stubborn to listen to the ones who tell them it's a bad idea, or they've been indoctrinated to think left-wing and progressive ideologies are demonic and evil. I'm not saying those ideologies are all good or bad. It's just from examining history, we can see they've generally had more positive impact on the lives of common people. A lot of problems we face today trace back to Ronald Reagan. That's true. Pope Dwayne Johnson says, does left wing in this case mean not a damn Nazi? Shih Tzu says, it, it means not an uneducated fool. Battersea said, but unironically, teaching and education is a left wing concept. Permaban says, wild that making yourself better with your brain is a left wing concept. True. Second top rated comment is from Negative Positive, and they say, Teacher accurately explains manifest destiny, colonization, slavery, civil war, women's rights and the labor movement, Jim Crow and the Red Scare, U.S. supported coups and the ADA, etc. MAGA, what is this left wing BS? Fearless Spring says, what do you mean educated individuals choose to stand against repression and bigotry? It is that Trump said it best, smart people don't like him and he loves the poorly educated. I mean, it says it all, doesn't it? If you support Trump, you're not very smart. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, we have expectation versus reality. I traveled 11 hours on a beautiful winter day. I really want to recreate this pretty photo I saw on Reddit. And there's no like it's all one shot. It's a split screen. So they wanted this and they got that. I mean, this looks like it's farther down, so you could probably go on the other side of it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Hard to say. I don't know why it looks farther away and yet it's closer. So they would have been standing here for that shot. Probably could have gone like on the other side of that. We got it. Arohito says, call me crazy, but I think the original photo is shopped or whatever it is just behind the corner. You stand in the wrong place, further back and more to the right, and the shop would disappear behind the corner. That's probably what it is. And they're fighting them in the comments about how to fix it. All right, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live times a day, usually about noon Eastern. Tell your friends it's a good one in the wild. Please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the email address is also in the description. And did you know that Joe Duggar got arrested again? Just got arrested. Got arrested again on Friday. His wife got arrested too. They got arrested for endangering a minor, 4 counts of endangering a minor each, and 4 counts each of unlawful imprisonment. Rumor has it that they had locks on the doors, like they had turned the bedroom doors in the kids' bedrooms around so that the locks were on the outside. But that's not all. That would, I mean, I don't see where they would get in trouble for doing that. But apparently, this last rumor I heard, and these are all rumors, so don't take this as gospel or anything. Not, I mean, they weren't like the doorknobs, on your bedroom where you push the button, and you turn the doorknob and it unlocks automatically. They had keys. They needed keys to get into the kid's bedroom. I know they're living on the compound in the ware home because I know Janet or what's her, Anna's moved out of the ware home. But yeah, turning them around is bad enough, but needing locks to open them, that's a very big safety hazard. Huge. What happens if one of them were jumping on the bed and got hurt? Because my kid wasn't even jumping on the bed and fell and got hurt off of the bed. He had to have 6 stitches in his face. So accidents do happen even in the middle of the night. Next, we have a real estate. And it says, do you like huge windows, stars, forest views, macrame? Okay, the macrame is intriguing. And this looks gorgeous. I love it. See if it holds up. We'll see if my love holds up. I don't like it. I don't like neighbors behind me. It clearly doesn't have much of a yard. Maybe it does. Maybe it's bigger than it looks. It is, it has been sold for over $1 million. It's 2 baths, 2 beds, and it's 1,757 square feet. Garage. Have we seen this one before? It looks familiar. Looks very familiar. That one car garage, true familiarity to me. Although I don't remember this deck. I like the windows. My house has lots of windows. Yeah, it's nice. I like the fireplace. I don't like the fuzzy. Are those cushions or are those just pillows on the chairs? They're very fuzzy. It's a weird choice. It's very 1970s orange. See, I need that for my, although I don't like how it looks. It's too square. It's too square. The couch is too square. Looks like they have a giant TV screen and a screen that pulls down. Oh, so I don't understand how that goes. I would put it on top and then pull it over if I needed to. Yeah, not digging the fuzzy chairs, guys. Not digging the fuzzy chairs at all. Do you like all the other pines? Sticky, sticky, sticky. I just see pine sap everywhere. Um, is this a sunken living room or raised everywhere else? I've been in a house similar to this. It was wild. It was wild. Um, metal chair. I'm anywhere ever. We've met the diner. Why is this chair just hanging out here in the middle of the floor? I don't get that. Kitchen's okay-ish, I guess. I'd probably redo some of it. I do like that it has an island, a sink in the island, unless that's the only sink. Has a nice stovetop, nice toaster oven. Sorry, it takes me a long time to remember words anymore sometimes. That does look like it's the only sink. It does have a nice triangle though, so that's good. Two two ovens is always nice. Another oven. Bedroom, lots of windows. What's that look like? Oh yeah, there's some curtains on it. Peacocks in gold. Golden peacocks. Why you want golden peacocks in your room? I don't know. Interesting. There is a wall of closet, but one of the closets is a desk. I mean, I guess that's okay. White. It's a very white bathroom. I'm not a fan of whatever the wang that is. Oh my gosh. What is that even? Oh, I don't like it. It's all fluffy and nicky and it's in the back. Interesting space for the laundry. Where are the controls and how do you get to them? Or is that just a mirror? Maybe that's a mirror. It's another bedroom, but it has a couch in it. So I'm confused. Maybe it's the guest bedroom and they use it. What's with the little ducks lined up in front of the TV? And I would not put my TV that close to a dartboard. This bathroom has the same tile as the last one. It's also very white. Not a fan. But we only got more to go. It's a nice deck. I like the deck a lot. Don't like that you have to go all the way downstairs to the garage. I have any problems. That's just me. All right. Let's go see what we got here. It's on a couple acres. I can't remember how big an acre is. There's really no explanation at all. Maybe they took that out. I don't know. Oh, here it is. It's mid-century, so 50s. Built in 1965. Okay, it did look that. It's been carefully renovated and reimagined to 21st century standards. No, it's not. No, it's not. New membrane roof. I don't know what a membrane roof is. I learned a new phrase today. New electric panels, new HVAC, new water heater, decking, landscape, walls, kitchen. That was a new kitchen? How? I mean, the appliances look newer, but those cabinets were not new. Bathroom flooring, those baths did not look new either. They did a bad job. If this was a renovation, they did a bad job. Unless they were trying to make it look like 1965, which I guess they could have been. Only two bedrooms. $1 million for a two-bedroom house. Absolutely why? Is that how big the lot is? You don't say how big the lot is. It's got a crawl space. There's no basement. One fireplace, wood burning. Um, Materials are cedar, stucco, wood, siding, insulation, and ceiling installation. No, thank you. Too much work. Too much upkeep. Sold on February 17th. Property taxes are only $7,227, so that's not too bad. That's affordable-ish. Dagentoth says, I love everything about this property. 1 pound fish flesh says, I loved everything about it the last time it was posted many months ago. They wonder why it's still on the market. It's not. It's been sold. It says that it's sold. So Eugene is a college town, no real industry there. What it needs is one of the UL players getting that NIL money to buy it and stay local. And Niffer. So I'm trying to figure out if it's raining or not. I guess not, but every once in a while something flickers past the window. It's all the windows here. I don't like it. Yeah, there just aren't a ton of job in Eugene. That would support cost and what it is. I'm not saying it's $1 million. Just for $1 million, you get a bigger house in that neighborhood with more than 2 bedrooms. It's an amazing house in the area, but I think it is looking for specific buyers, probably empty nesters who move here for the university or older dinks for the same. Russo says, for only 2 bedrooms, I bet this house market is a rich booster who likes flying in for the games, entertain his old college buddies. That I think he meant boomer, or no, he meant a booster for whatever team is there. But yeah, that would make sense. A weekend house, weekend getaway for somebody who really likes the sports ball for the college. That would make sense. This is interesting AF, and it's called firing a cannon to trigger an avalanche. So be warned, could be triggering for some people in more ways than one.
Огонь.
They do this. Trigger avalanches for safety skiers. Like winter sports. There's no sound. I have the sound on. It is all the way up, so there's definitely no sound on this.
Не пора ли уходить? Чего?
That is what an avalanche looks like when it's on purpose. Yeah, rangers will go out and trigger avalanches for the safety of everybody involved. My cat party house says this is a lot safer than skiing up there to set explosives. which is what one of my brothers did in the 60s and 70s. He worked for a park service that regularly set off small avalanches with the goal of preventing larger ones. Yep, that's how they do. Public Cry says in Utah about 20 years ago, they did a shoot over. The shell went over the whole mountain and landed in someone's backyard. Talk about missing your mark. Last week, authorities, this is a quote, authorities conducting control work in Utah's Provo Canyon near Sundance overshot their target by 3 miles and nearly annihilated a home. The shell fired from a howitzer um, cannon and cleared the entire Mount Timpang, Timpanogos wilderness area and landed in the backyard of a Pleasant Grove residence. According to Deseret News, a shell left a crater the size of a small swimming pool and set shrapnel and debris flying in all directions. Good thing they didn't hit the house because the house would have been obliterated. That sounds like a big bomb. Big kaboom. Next is Am I the A-hole? And it is entitled AITA for refusing to go to my sister-in-law's baby shower, and the rest of the family is following. This all started soon after. This is like a tale as old as time, I think. This started soon after my brother married Ruby. At the time, everyone really liked her. My older sister and I were part of her bridal party. Her wedding was around 5 years ago. So they were talking about trying to have kids and they were struggling with infertility issues. Ruby was quite upset, but it got a lot worse when my older sister, she was 26 at the time, got pregnant. When you are having fertility issues, you cannot get mad at other people for being pregnant. It's ridiculous. Be happy for them. Yeah, you can be sad on your own, but you should be happy for them. Ruby was snappish and mean to my older sister, and people tried to be very mindful since she was struggling. You shouldn't have to do that. You should not have to walk around on eggshells because somebody else is having not the same problems that you're having. When the baby was born, Ruby didn't even send anything. Yeah, I mean, I don't send things. I don't expect things either. So I got pregnant in my senior year of college. It was an oops baby, and I could only told my mom because I was unsure what to do. I was a heavy drinker at family events, and when I wasn't drinking, my mom joked that I must be pregnant, and my face gave it away. That's how it came out. I didn't plan to tell the family like that. Ruby, in short, lost her crap at me. She yelled at me how I didn't deserve a kid and called me a lot of names. My mom tried to make her stop, but she yelled at her also and told my mom she deserved the stillborn she had. The whole thing was horrible. When I gave birth, I posted pictures online. She made a post saying some people don't deserve kids, and she has not apologized. I wouldn't go to her baby shower either. Did we already read this? The issue is Ruby is pregnant. She's having her baby shower. Well, congratulations, Ruby. I'm not coming. You're mean. I told them. I told them no. Oh, all the way. I talked to my mom about it and decided not to go. My mom is also not going, and everyone seems to be following my lead on this. We all RSVP'd no, and my brother called to ask me to come. And I said no, and it started an argument. He says his wife has been crying about being hated by the family and wants everyone to make up. I'm sorry. Don't be hateful, and people won't hate you. These are the consequences of your own. Like I said, when other people are not having the same problems you are having, that doesn't give you right to be hateful towards them. I told him that isn't my problem and this is her fault. He wants me to suck it up and come and texted me multiple times about it. No means no, leave me alone. I don't know if I go I don't know if I don't go anyone else will, especially since my mother hates Ruby after that argument. And it because people ask, no, we probably won't have a relationship with the baby if nothing changes. I already don't allow my kid near her. I have a strict if you are a dick to me, you don't get access to my kids. And my sister has the same. My mom will probably not be a grandparent to the child either. She will not put up with someone she hates to have access with to a kid. She's not that type of person. Yay, mom. Green flags for mom in this. Don't be hateful. And be call and apologize. Upset Law says she told your mom she deserved a stillbirth and said you didn't deserve your kid. She can cry about family support all she wants, but you don't owe her your presence. Edited NTA. Queen Comfort answers, certainly not without a sincere apology in person or over the phone. Now, no, this has got to be in person, not via text or through her brother, and not in a group apology. The situation that requires that each person gets individual apology. Yes, called reparations. Green Eyed Lady says, even the most sincere apology, narcissist finally showing her colors, and she will do this again. I saw it in my ex daughter in law, sweet and loving 1 minute, and the devil with jumps and then the devil within jumps out. Narcs think they are entitled to everything and everyone else is against them. Stay away from her. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the award. Actually, there were 6 of them. Round Earth Theory says an apology can fix it, but it's not a one and done. It's a you don't go sorry, now give me presents. It would be sorry, I understand, and I hope one day we can be family again. Then live by that apology. Exactly. Uh, we'll just call her mom. Says NTA, what did your brother get for you and your sister while your babies were born? He doesn't get a free pass because of his gender. His wife treated both of you awfully and never apologized or make amends. OP says, my brother congratulated us in private. It was really clear that this was only from him because she was making remarks in person before the oldest sister's birth and online with me. Mom answers, well, when his child is born, you can offer them congratulations also. You don't have to go to the shower and fawn over his or her pregnancy. Exactly. Third top priority comment is from Normal Height. Sure you are. I bet you're 5 foot. I'm normal height. Everybody else is just abnormally tall. 95% of people are abnormally tall. They say NTA, time for sucking up is over. If your sister-in-law wanted to not be hated by the rest of the family, then she needs to start by acknowledging that she has been hateful towards others. And she needs to apologize individually to everyone that she has acted badly towards. And, treat them nicely from now on. Treat them nicely from now on. She can start by apologizing to your mom for saying she deserves the death of her baby, her own husband's sibling. Then she can apologize to you and your sister for saying you don't deserve children. Then she can work her way through the rest of your family because no doubt she said horrible things to others too. And then she and your brother need to accept that remorse and forgiveness isn't magic wand that fixes everything instantaneously, but a process of patiently rebuilding broken trust. Exactly. And that reconciliation may not come in time to save her baby shower because life isn't perfect like the movies, and that is the natural consequence of her prolonged hostility and not anyone else's fault. White Roses says apologies are about accountability, not access. And there are some things that I'm sorry won't ever fix. 100%. Next, we have Overheard, and it is entitled Overheard at Lunch. Man talking loudly. Crap, crap, crap. I shouldn't have been using names in public. Crap. Hey, hey, you, listen, I won't repeat any of this, right? You people have a professional code of conduct or ethics or something. Waiter, me? Man talking loudly. Yes, who else? Waiter. Oh no, but if it helps, I cannot overstate how much I do not care about what anyone here and there is saying. Shimley too says waiter is now intently listening to see what dirt he can use. Waiter better be tipped very well. Very well. True off my chest, entitled My Dad cut me completely out of his life once. He found out I was biologically wasn't his. Like I've never meant anything to him and it still hurts. Oh, I would imagine. He may not be your father, but he is your dad. And oh, why do men do this? I guess women can't really do that. Why do men do this? Like you raised this child as your own. He is yours. Actually, stepmothers do it. It's really rude. 5 years ago, when I was 15, my parents got divorced. And my dad found out she'd been basically cheating on them their whole relationship, and he demanded a DNA test for all of us. I was the eldest of 4 siblings, and everyone except me was his biological child. That's just horrible. And just like that, he cut me out completely. Not even a proper goodbye, he just disappeared from my life. Before this, my entire life, he was my best friend, and he's still the only father figure I've had in my life. My bio dad passed away before I was even born. Dad is still the same exact dad he was to me and my little siblings, but he refuses to even just have a casual raise now, like he didn't raise me as his oldest son for 15 damn years. Again, it must be hard for him to find out the truth because it's the hardest thing I've ever been through to like dad wasn't really my dad, but how wangy heartless do you have to be to just throw me like worthless crap because I didn't come from your ball sack? Honestly, right now, oh, I think he meant resent. It says rest. I think he meant resent. Honestly, right now, I resent both him and my mom, and honestly, even my siblings too. Yeah, your mom is there for sure. It sounds like mom lied to dad about how she got pregnant. Super Greg says this one hurts to read. I wish I could give you a hug. I couldn't imagine being in your shoes. Truly sorry for you. Captain says, I agree. It's so incredibly cruel, and I'm so sad for OP. I am too. I'm so sorry, OP. This should not be the answer. This is not the answer. How can you care about somebody for 15 as your own and then kick him to the curb? How? Decent Juggernaut said, I had the same issue come up when I worked in a law firm. The woman was sleeping with two men, and based on when she was with each, realized she was pregnant by man number one. Man number two was a much better catch, and they had sort of broken up until she told him the baby was his. But on the birth certificate, she put the real dad's name. Well, man number two never saw the birth certificate until they were planning an overseas trip and had to show the birth certificates of the kids to get them passports. She tried lying about who the name belonged to, but finally said it was man number one. Man number two demanded DNA tests for all the kids. The marriage was over, but man number two did not cut off the first kid. In fact, he sued for custody of all the kids, and she didn't end up hiring us, so I never heard anything else. And that is the correct answer to that. You get all of the kids, all of them. Brown Eyes White Scarf says, I think what is different in this case is that trust was broken twice. Once when OP's mother had an affair child that she passed off as his father's own, and once more with her constant cheating while the father took care of OP. She knew OP wasn't his and still proceeded to cheat throughout OP's child life while her husband was a great father. I would argue that the second betrayal hits even farther than the first. Yeah, but that's the parent, not the kid. Tall dark cancer. Oh, you sound terrible. I don't like you. I have four sons, lost one of them in a car accident. I can't imagine choosing to cut one of them out of my life that I raised for 15 years. Save my profile. If you ever need bad advice, I'll be your stand in dad. I'm sorry you're going through this. Adult problems should never bleed over into a child's life, but sadly it happens all the time. Truthful boy answers, this made me tear up. You're a good soul. And the third top comment is no straight. Where's your mom in all of this? Do your siblings speak to her? Can she help with college? Maximum Drag says, I'm in no contact with her. She's a narcissistic bitch. Yep. hmm hmm Yep. Illmatic says, I'm sorry you're going through this. I know that you mean something to this world and the people you're in. You will create a life with your own purpose. I know that. You're a good person. Focus hard on your studies. Focus hard on getting into school or whatever you want to do when you're 18. Also, work at school, go to college, work at college, get a good job, and live your best life and make all of them people resent you back. Next is What Do I Do? And is entitled Final Update. My adopted brother flirting with me. Here's the original post. This is the one we didn't read last week. It's not safe for work, so be warned. Oops, not to do that. Sorry, I meant like it's weird that you used to be my little sister. Now you're a beautiful one. It makes me nostalgic. Don't worry, I'm still your little sister. Always will be. Good morning. I hope your day goes well. Let me know how your bio presentation go. You got this. But yeah, my little sister isn't so little anymore. You're still 5 inches taller than me. I don't know. That doesn't. I mean, that just seems normal. I also wanted to bring up something important with you lately. You have been acting a little different, more shy to me. But at Christmas, you were more physical. Is there anything I did on why you're acting differently? I just hope everything is okay. And he answers, I've actually been meaning to talk to you about this. It's going to sound really weird. And you can tell me if it makes you uncomfortable, but I have been seeing you in a different light lately. No, no, dude, you're weird. I don't know how to describe it. And of course, I still love you and you're my family. It's just different now that we're far away. Oh, okay. I don't know. I just mean you're the one person I'm excited to talk to every day. If we don't text, I really miss you. I hope this doesn't get misconstrued. Do you understand what I'm saying? That might not be flirting. That just might be you're my best friend. You're my best friend. She answers, kind of, but also not really. I also miss you since you're my brother. I miss everyone. It's hard being away from home. He says, do you understand what I'm saying? FFS is coming out wrong. Can I call you at 9 o'clock tonight to clear it up? I feel hearing text it will sound bad. She says, please, you're making me worried and a little uncomfortable. Can you please just tell me now? And he just wants to tell her tonight. I don't know. That's that's too vague. If he's flirting with her. Crazy Creative says, I have a feeling he wants to call and not text so it can be screenshotted. I don't know. I don't know. Final update is my adopted brother flirting with me. And there's more text. Look, I'm really sorry I've been going through it lately. I think I got my feelings mixed up and I don't know. Please, I need to keep you in my life and I just really care about you. Why is he high-fiving? And you have really pushed away when you're already so far away it would kill me. I know it's winged up what I said, and I'm sorry I put you in that situation. It wasn't right. Can we please just forget it happened? I don't care if you tell mom and dad or two other people. I just need to know that you'll need, I just know I need you. I'll go to therapy like you suggested. But I want to get better for you. I'm in class. Stop calling me. Are you okay? Just please let me process. Wayne, I'm sorry this is so hard, though. I can't even imagine what you're thinking. I wish I'd never said anything. I haven't ruined anything, have I? I'll be frank. I'm not really annoyed. I'm really annoyed you can't leave me alone. And let me think things through. It says spam calling and texting. This is the last time I'm going to ask you before I'm going to block you. And I'm very busy right now. This is the last thing I need. And he says he respects that. And that's all of that. I believe this will be the final update on what's going on between me and my brother-in-law. Unfortunately, despite my wanting to, I didn't record due to people commenting that it's illegal in some states, which I am unfortunately in. But when I was informed after we talked, it doesn't matter unless you're using it in a legal setting. Exactly. If anything, I think these texts prove his intentions. I will try to keep this as succinct as possible. Long story short, he said he was in love with me. Okay, that's not cool. Even if you're not blood related, being in love with your sibling is weird. Weird. Not acceptable. I mean, I joked once to my daughter about her marrying my best friend's son, and she's like, ew, that'd be like marrying my brother. And they didn't even live together, so that's how that goes. It was just a joke. She was already with somebody. I don't know if he was at the time, but it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Like you could always marry, one of these boys, and it's like, ew, that'd be like marrying my brother. I believe, long story short, he said he was in love with me. He got really nervous at the start, took 20 minutes of beating around the bush, and then he told me, he said he was so sorry, he tried to keep it hidden and didn't want to lose our relationship, but he never felt like that about anyone. He seemed very sincere and vulnerable, and I asked him for a couple of minutes of silence to try and think of the best thing to say. I ended up saying something like, I'm glad you trusted me enough to confide this in me, but this has made me deeply uncomfortable. The only future with us is one as your sister. I love you as a brother, but if you can't handle that respect me, then I need to stop communicating with you. He started crying about how sorry he was for bringing this up and he would do better, but just please not shut him out. I've literally never seen him cry, besides when we were really young. So hearing it made me unsettled on what to do. I could tell how much he was struggling to come to terms with his emotions, but continuing to talk to him and hear him beg made me even more disgusted. I told him I need to go and please give me space. He has since flooded my phone with texts. I'm seriously blocking him. I'm considering blocking him for the time being, and I'm very conflicted on slash lost on how to bring this up with my family. Oh, you need to tell mom and daddy like right now, like right now. Unfortunately, I don't even have the mental capacity to deal with this right now, as I have two exams next week and a 20-page paper due. Oh, you poor thing. He couldn't have waited till after exams to to tell you this. He's very much struggling mentally, which I never knew until he said it last night and today. I'm going to message my parents to potentially include a mental health check. That's a good idea. I'm also going to bring his behavior up with them this weekend. The only good thing is that he is on the other country, so I can just focus on school right now. If worst comes to worst, I can cut him out of my life, but cutting the rest of my family off is not as well as non-negotiable things. Love Cat says, OP, if you're able to talk to a counselor on your own, then you can get a non-biased opinion on what you should do and who you should talk to in your family. I'd also just block him so you can get peace of mind. That's a good idea. Like, she's in college, she has access to counselors, like in more than one way. OP answers, I'm booking an appointment with the Student Services Resource Center. I thought of saying this stuff out loud to another person makes me ill. I guess one thing to write it down, but saying it out loud is so nasty. So I'll write it down. Just write it down. You can write it down and then show them. That's fine. Common Wanging Sense says homeboys be spending way too much time looking on the hub. I'd put him in a very, very, very long time out, not just go no, if not just go no contact. Period. I would also absolutely tell your family. Start with whoever you are most comfortable with related to how to proceed further. No, you ask a professional on how to proceed further. You don't ask some rando because they don't know what they're doing. Bud says by long you mean 25 to life, right? I wouldn't ever be talking to this person again. Ceramic Toast says unfortunately there's no laws against being cringe. Yeah, but you don't have to put up with it. Third rated comment is from, I'm not telling you, we'll call him the Major. I think it's a good idea if you plan on telling them good luck, and I'm sorry dealing with this nightmare. Peachy King Jack says, came in to say this exactly. Don't let them control the narrative. You tell them good luck, OP. Yeah, you should get to the parents before he does. Definitely get to the parents before he does. Next, we have entitled parents. Thankfully, it's really short. It's entitled My Parents' Mother Gained Access to a Private Therapy Session Between Him and I. How? He said she made him sign the release. What? We are far from minors. Oh my God. Dump him. Red flag. This is a giant. Like, this is red curtains, red bedspread, red house. Dump him. Then she divulged the very sensitive information to his other family members, and they started calling him, asking questions about it. I've never felt so violated in my life. Not only was my privacy violated by my own partner and his mother, but it was broadcast to other people that I don't even know. Loves Lila says she made him sign the release. Is your partner a jellyfish? That would have been it for me. Just a betrayal would have had me packing, walking out the door. I'm very sorry this happened. What an awful thing to happen. OP says I was in shock. I don't know how to process it. Yeah, she said repeatedly. He repeatedly told her no, and he was uncomfortable. And then she turned it to yes until she turned it to yes. This is when you contact the therapist and ask them what should I do. My mother is pressuring me to sign over a release and let you give all my stuff to her. I had him as I found out to revoke the consent obtained under pressure, but she had already spoken to her over the phone. She then spread things to her other family members that were complete fabrications, things I never said. Mama Bear on her couch says, I have bad news for you. This relationship is over. Don't think about it for a minute. He can't stand up to his mother. What's going to happen when she doesn't like your choices for food for the wedding reception? The cake flavor or decoration? The venue. How are you supposed to plan a wedding that is meaningful to the two of you when she butts in on every decision? And yes, she will. How about when you have kids? Is he going to stand up to his mother? Then on the rules you and he have set in place, or is he going to let his mother do whatever she pleases? Hint, she'll do what she pleases. Or buy a house. Do you want to risk her calling up your realtor or your lender or your sellers and screwing up a purchase because she doesn't like the neighborhood or it's too far away? Or you should be buying a brick home instead of a stucco home? Oh, this OP's mom is Amber Johnston. This must be Ashley. Hi, Ashley. How are you? You have a boyfriend problem, and it will become a huge problem if you marry him. His therapist isn't doing him any good if he still has this many mommy apron strings tied around him. You need to get out before it gets worse. Mom is watching and says, as someone who had a similar mother in law, yes, this 1000% is going to be your future OP. OP says, well, this is my past, present, and future. My counselor says this is abuse by proxy and that what his mother has done to him all those years, I'm now experiencing too. She has falsely accused a family member of hers of something very serious. That family member had to distance themselves. She has a pattern of this unstable behavior. Rippy the Rip says, I'd be shocked at your counselor to releasing info on the consent of one person like the other person isn't there. Obviously, it's his counselor. OP says it's his counselor. I have a separate counselor. Clearly, it was his counselor. And they should know better than this. Won't they call OP and say, hey, you really what you want? Because I would be. This from Oh No Consequences, entitled Stepdaughter and Her Boyfriend Learn the Hard Way About How Good They Had It with the OP Watching Their Kid. It's originally from Best of Redditor Updates, which looks like it was originally in AITAH. AITAH for refusing to continue providing free childcare for my stepdaughter. No, no. Free childcare is a privilege, not a right. Original post January 6, 2025, so a little over a year ago. I did a work program with the local clerk of court's office when I was in high school. They hired me when I graduated, and I had my 30 service years before I turned 50. With 30 service years, you can get your full pension at any age. I worked until my first grandchild was born and then retired to be grandma daycare. I have 5 grands, 8 male from my stepson, 7 from my son. Okay, you have more than 5. I have Oh, that's their ages, okay. I have 5 grands, an 8-year-old male for my stepson, 7-year-old male for my son, 5-year-old female, and an 18-month-old male for my daughter. I babysat all of them with no issues or complaints. I still kept the 18-month-old Monday through Friday and the older ones summer and school holidays. My stepdaughter and her boyfriend step stepson. Okay. My stepdaughter and her boyfriend has been nonstop drama since before the baby was born. When she was 10 weeks pregnant, they presented a 3-page list of rules for when I was babysitting. They said if I didn't sign it, they wouldn't be allowed to babysit. They wouldn't allow me to babysit. I said I understood that their need to do was best for the baby and assured them that there would be no hurt feelings on my end when they made other childcare arrangements. Good for you, LP. Good for you. You need boundaries. Good. Some of the rules were almost understandable, but most were downright ridiculous. I would like to see the list. I'd love to see this list. And none of it was going to work for me. I don't remember them all, but here are some examples. I can't take the baby anywhere without their permission. That's reasonable, unless they explicitly trust you to take their kids, which I think my son and daughter-in-law would trust me to take their kids anywhere I wanted. Really. I gotta get them to get the seats back in the car. I can't watch more than one additional child while babysitting. That seems I can't cook. Trust me, you don't want to cook. But you need to cook. I had to provide the full name, date of birth, and address of any potential visitors ahead of time for their approval for the baby sound being around their child. I mean, I can see that, but only if you have somebody who you can't trust, and if you can't trust them to have their friends over around your child, then you don't trust them enough to watch your child. Just saying. They have to know anytime I have a guest over who it is and how long they stay. Not any of your business. This is my house. If you don't want your child around other people, don't have me watch them. My 9-year-old cat would have to be kept out of rooms so the baby would be, even when the baby wasn't there. What? I couldn't get another pet without their agreement? No, no, it's not your house. You don't make rules in my house. When she was 7 months along, they came back with revised rules in an attempt to compromise. I again let them know that their expectations were not going to fit with my life and that they should find other childcare. 2 days after my stepdaughter went back to work, she called and asked if I could keep Colin the next day. I agreed, but I made it clear that I was not that I was going to provide safe and appropriate care according to my judgment. I wasn't going to deal with complaints or whatever. That I was violating their rules because I wanted it very clear that I was not agreeing to any of that. My stepdaughter was okay on the days she picked Cullen up and dropped him off. I feel like she was interrogating me every time she picked him up, but it was tolerable, but her boyfriend was downright rude. I got to the point where I actually spent Sunday dreading the start of the week because dreading both of them, but specifically, especially his behavior. Well, that's not any way to live. At minimum, he'd pick up Colin, make a big deal of partially undress him, and make at least one snide comment about my cat, or if I had another grandchild over besides the 18-month-old, or if I had cooked or whatever. Then he'd say, I guess put up with this for now, or I guess you're happy that you won. I hate people like that. This went on for 4 months. I spoke to my stepdaughter several times about it and told her that obviously they were very unhappy with how I cared for Colin and that they should really work on finding something else and that in the meantime he needed to be less vocal about it. It would get better for a day or two and then he'd start again. That's when you say shut up and don't bring your kid over anymore. All came to a head as Thanksgiving was approaching. He was very verbal about the fact that he didn't want me to keep all my grandchildren over the break. I made it very clear that there would be a couple of days where I had all of them and that they needed to make other arrangements if they had a problem. Exactly. This is your problem, not mine. Your kid, not mine. This is what I'm doing. If you don't like it, you can make other arrangements. They didn't make other arrangements, and when he picked up Colin on the first day that I had all of my grands, he was very rude. And although nothing happened, everyone was happy, clean, fed, and had a great day. He said to Colin that he was sorry they had no choice except to leave him in an unsafe situation to be neglected. What? Oh my gosh. I called my stepdaughter that night and relayed to her what was said and told her that she had 2 weeks to make other arrangements and that she needed to drop Colin off and pick him up during those 2 weeks. If her boyfriend came to drop him off, I would refuse to keep him, and if he picked him up, I would not keep him again. So things were better only dealing with her. At some point, she asked me if I would keep him until January because they found someone, but they couldn't start until then. I agreed. She picked Colin up and dropped him off, and everything was fine. New Year's Day, several people sent me screenshot of a post her boyfriend made on social media about how thankful he was that they were finally able to leave Colin without worry about his safety or him being neglected. He didn't outright name me or accuse me of anything specific, but anyone who knows us knows I was keeping him, and the post implied plenty. Oh, the post I would make. The post I would make. Oh my goodness. I don't take crap from people anymore. I'm too old. I was just happy it was over. Friday, she called me and said that her child wasn't a good fit and she couldn't bring him back Monday. She asked if I would start keeping him again, and I told her I was sorry for the situation, but I really didn't feel comfortable keeping him. My husband and stepson both think I should have watched Colin under the agreement that Amanda drop him off and pick him up because they think her boyfriend is the big problem and I should just do it for Colin's sake. My stepson also commented that I'd probably be more willing to let it go if it had been a conflict with my daughter's husband. Well, her daughter's husband doesn't act like a buffoon. My pension is about $4,000 a month plus continuation of my health insurance. That's about 40% of our take home, if that matters. AITAH for refusing to start watching Cullen again. Absolutely not. No consensus bot. OOP was NTA. Commenter 1, NTA. No, you shouldn't put yourself through this for Colin's sake. Colin will get cared for regardless. Is he a energy vampire, by the way? Little Colin's energy vampire. There's no need for you to set yourself on fire because your stepdaughter and her boyfriend can't behave like normal human beings. Your husband and stepson are welcome to offer free childcare to put up with this treatment if it's important to them. But you've done your time. Learn from that experience and don't let yourself be put in the same situation again. Commenter 2, for real, she's the ideal grandma and deserves a lot better than whatever this is. OOP, I don't know about ideal, but my mom was my rock and helping her with my kids had such an amazing relationship with her and I want to do that for my children and grandchildren. Question, does OOP's stepdaughter and the boyfriend earn enough money to have a parent stay home with kid? OOP, they make roughly the same salary, so doubt they could afford either to stay home, but I doubt that's what he wants. I don't meddle in their affairs, but they seem to spend a lot of money relative to their salaries, probably in debt up to their eyeballs. I really don't know what goes on in her house, that's fine. You don't need to know. She and I aren't close, so she wouldn't confide in me if there was a problem, but I don't think he's abusing her. Commenter 3, it looks like your stepson should find a new babysitter then, given you're always showing up so much favoritism to your biological children with an eye roll. OOP says he's the oldest. I literally retired to watch his children for free. I don't I could have just kept working and waited until my biological children had babies if that's how I felt. And the question is, how is OOP's relationship with her stepdaughter? My stepdaughter has lots of very big emotions when her dad got serious with me. Her parents had been divorced for years, but they were still angry at each other and didn't exactly co-parent well all the time. Seeing that. I was unfortunately the person she lashed out at the most. I worked in the clerk of court's office and took lots of free evening babies family court classes. They're such a great resource and so many people sat through them court ordered but completely disengaged. I had lots of practice and professional help setting behavioral expectations and boundaries with her. Well, that's fortunate because not everybody has that. Update January 7th, 2025, the next day. First, let me address the common suggestions that Amanda's boyfriend is purposefully sabotaging their daycare to trap her at home. They make roughly the same amount of money and definitely can't afford to lose half their income. I seriously doubt he wants her to stay home. Second, I would never tell my stepson to find someone else to watch his child because of a simple difference of opinion. My grandson and I have a very close bond. He's the oldest and it would break my heart if he didn't come spend his holidays and summers with me. I bet so. Plus, he's a huge help with the little ones when I have them all and things get hectic. I would never be so petty as to make him and all my other grandchildren suffer because of an adult disagreement. So I sort of asked around about why they were dropping their new sitter so quickly. Apparently they weren't. Amanda picked up Cullen and dropped him off both days and he went and it was lovely. He did cry quite a bit, but they expected that to get better as he adjusted to not being held so much. Husband and stepson talked to Amanda and she said that they realized they can't afford daycare. They made the easy changes, packing a lunch, giving up fancy coffee, etc. And his dad and her mom are both giving them $100 a month toward childcare, and they can barely afford it. Oh my goodness. Childcare is expensive though, especially for a baby. For an infant, yeah. An infant, and then it gets a little lower when they're not potty trained, and then it gets a little lower after they're potty trained. But they didn't realize you have to send everything the baby needs. I buy diapers, wipes, formula, bottles, extra clothes, etc. They just hand me the baby. They didn't realize daycare didn't cover all that. Yeah, we learned we learned real fast. We have pull-ups, extra pull-ups here, and extra tapping. We should have extra clothes. I keep intending to buy clothes for them, but it never seems to happen, and they grow so fast that are they really going to use it? Also, imagine her boyfriend's surprise when he found out that staffing rates are in this very expensive daycare. Adult cares for 5 infants. I guess he thought someone would provide one-on-one care, diapers, wipes, and formula for $350 a week. 350 is pretty cheap, actually. My stepson relied on their almost apology. Relay their almost apology. They felt overwhelmed by an infant and couldn't imagine that someone else could manage that plus other things. Cullen is going back to daycare tomorrow. Cullen's dad is selling his dirt bike, and Amanda is selling some designer clothes, handbags, and shoes to cover the cost. It'll get easier to the 1-year-old class, which is a little cheaper, like I said. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Good on you, LP. If your husband brings it up again, tell him he can pay for his grandson's daycare, as you have been publicly accused of neglect. Will not take on the legal risk of caring for Cullen anymore. OOP, we agree that we are cutting up. He wouldn't give them. We agreed when we were cutting up that he wouldn't give them any money towards childcare. Commenter 2. So not only are they myopic and ungrateful and condescending, but they're also dishonest. Amanda lied to her stepmother when she told her that they had been asked to leave. It wasn't a good fit, and their last day would be Monday at the childcare. Wow, I'm so glad OP did not back down and let them bring Colin back. OOP, I will never babysit him again. I do not watch him. I will not watch him in a house. I will not watch him with a mouse. I will not watch him in a box. I will not watch him with a fox. I will not watch him here or there. I will not watch him anywhere. Poor Colin. Poor Colin. Commenter number 3. Info is Amanda's boyfriend is not even the least bit contrite that his entitlement and unreasonable attitude has cost his family money and can clearly not afford. If not, has any of this lifted the haze from Amanda's eyes that this guy is a good partner to support her and their child going through all of life's up and downs? For heaven's sake, they had free childcare at their disposal. Completely free because they did nothing. They provided no food. They didn't even provide diapers and clothes for the kid. Like, geez, oh, pizzas, do you not know how good you have it? That's ridiculous. They had free childcare at their disposal, and they shat all over OP. Talk about crapping the bed. OOP, I really can't say. My stepson and husband both spoke to Amanda and possibly him and relayed the message. I haven't spoke to them directly since I found out Amanda lied about the Cullen being kicked out of the daycare. I honestly don't care if he's sorry or not at this point. Being sorry is that you got caught and have a consequences different than reflecting on your actions and realizing that you were wrong and have real remorse. If he ever gets to the point where we can have a heart to heart. Question, where are the stepdaughter and her boyfriend's parents involved in Cullen's care? OOP, her mom and dad both work full time. His dad works full time. No idea about his mom. OOP can set up the boundaries when it comes to caring for her grandchildren. OOP, when you are providing free childcare, you can allow whatever boundaries you want. I'm not texting anyone about a short trip to the store. If that's a condition they have, they are more than welcome to make other arrangements for the children that do not involve me. 100%. Editor's note. OOP made an important comment 1 month after this Bowroo was posted. I'm adding it for more context. OOP was asked how Cullen was doing after the back to daycare. OOP is not in daycare anymore. My stepson's wife got abruptly laid off, and they decided she should stay home and babysit Cullen, and stepdaughter should pay her the difference between what she gets in unemployment and what she was making before. My stepdaughter and her boyfriend are miserable because the house is not very tidy, and Cullen and his uh, things get dog hair on them. They're paying almost as much as daycare as for the baby as his stuff will be covered in dog hair and for his stuff to smell from being in the house. Stepson and his wife are miserable because stepdaughter and her boyfriend aren't very appreciative of the favor they are doing and make comments and complain about the dirty house dogs, etc. They're all stuck for now because daycare filled his spot and he's on their wait list. I'm not uh I'm saying absolutely out of it. Don't blame you. Top comment is from Hung Boy. I just got I just holy crap, imagine being given free childcare from his step parent and then complaining constantly about the care. These two are some of the most entitled brats I've ever read about. Also, on a side note, I always love these stories, whereas always that's one family member or friend who always criticizes but never offers to help. Cyberpoodle says the answers especially free on one daycare with homemade food. What a child had it all, but the parents are absolute dunces. I hope they have a 3 a.m. realization about that one day. Well, I think they probably already have. They just won't acknowledge it because they can't be wrong. Somebody said they feel sorry for the kid, and your average plebeian answers. Fast forward 5 or more years, and the new drama will be, why is step granny OOP not as close to my widow baby Cullen as she is to other grandchildren? It's favoritism, probably. Most of all, most, if not all, of the other cousins will have a decent relationship with OOP as they grow up, get thoughtful gifts and good advice, and they approach her with their problems, maybe even get heirlooms or collections for their hobbies or academic interests if OOP has them to share. Cullen will be left out now because there's really no telling when stepdaughter will punish OOP for a good deed, but that's not OOP's headache anymore. Second top comment is from Lime International, and they say the stepdaughter would do well to learn what phrase "don't bite the hand that feeds you" means. Cyber Poodle says, "Bite the hand that feeds you and diapers your child for free." McCongry says in another comment she mentioned that once the kids are in preschool age, she pays and volunteers for some socialization activities with the other kids too. She sounds like a great grandma. TXA says, and there's another part of the problem. Her husband's taught his children to treat OOP as a doormat, expected to take all of that crap in some sort of family does for family nonsense. Notice the husband doesn't step up, just drops expectations. Same for stepson. Wife is the one who makes the concessions. OP says the not OOP, OP says yeah, she definitely needs to check him too. This for mildly infuriating. Texting my mother. Get butter. Get butter, please, and sour cream too. What kind? Kind of what? Butter and sour cream and cheap. That makes no sense. So just get what you want. That's simple. Without running errands, she texted me simply. Um, she simply was asking what kind of butter and sour cream because, team, this isn't the entire conversation. When Dingle Crossing says salted butter and daisy sour cream it is. The puppy is winning, says Daisy definitely, but if it's Kerrygold, then unsalted butter. Otherwise, either. Kerrygold's unsalted cultured butter and their salt is cultured butter, and their salted is not. And their cultured butter is more buttery tasting. Kerrygold is also super expensive. Pikachu says, my mom uses voice for text at every single thing and doesn't realize her texts are fully incomprehensible until she's getting a ton of messages asking if she's having a stroke. Hey, Mom, could you still pick us up today? Jazz Kama running lake. Shower, shower. What? Jazz came in shower. Mom, are you okay? The mom, are you okay was not from the person texting. It was from somebody else in the text thread. Steph Gravity says Jazz Cama and shower is the new live life live laugh love. And Trotting and Hotting says shower shower. Electric says eat pray shower shower. Oh, if I did that, I would get ripped so bad for my kids. As Avar says, please help him out of butter. Oh, Dave Dave pees in the pool. Dave stopped doing that. Uh, so just whatever brand, kind, size you want, since she won't specify if you get home and it's not what she wanted, that's on her. Your crap post says if it's not what she wanted, give her a thumbs up. Wang Yu Karen is entitled Rich, Rich, yeah. This is from Wang Yu Karen. It's entitled Drunk Rich Girl Melts Down After Getting Caught Fleeing Cops into Tesla. This may not be appropriate. You know what? I'm just going to put the. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put the link in the show notes and you can watch it on your own because I'm afraid this is not going to be appropriate, if you know what I mean. It's very obvious what that is. Okay, I'll watch that later. I'm not watching it now either. Next, we have Am I Overreacting? And it's entitled Am I Overreacting for Being Upset that My Girlfriend Secretly Used My Credit Cards for Months? No, you are not overreacting. That is theft. That is theft, sir. Theft. Morning, babe. When you wake up, I need to talk to you about something serious. Just left the gym. Is everything okay? Oops, I forgot to share. Why is it not sharing? I'm confused. Oh, that's why. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Why does it keep going to that? Stop it. Don't want to share that. I want to share this. Ugh, sorry. Technical issues. There we go. Usually it's the top one, so I don't even look. I'm okay. So I woke up from a call from Amex this morning for a fraud alert about some purchases on my card. I had to temporarily lock my card. This is the last thing I want to deal with. Very frustrated. Oh, that's awful. What do you need from me? Can I help at all? I'm sorry. That's just so annoying, especially while you're traveling. Yes, it's very annoying. I'm just going to be direct and ask you why and how are you using my credit card? And she's, wait, what do you mean? Please be honest with me. It says the purchases were $36 at Target. We're just going to make things up now. And then another $224 at Sephora, both locations in Austin. So you're saying I did something, babe? How would I be using your credit card if it's with you? I don't know. I'm asking you directly. I don't want to accuse you of doing anything, but I don't have the full picture. But for understand, this is the only thing that makes sense. So how did you use my card at Sephora? Why would you automatically think it's me? Because this already happened months ago. I assume my card just got skimmed for something. I don't know, but I replaced it and it didn't happen again. And now I'm out of the country and it happens again. I'm sorry, but you have to understand how it looks to me. Just answer my question, please. Are you using my card? Well, I did a couple of times back in September. I thought it was okay, though. It wasn't like that. Sure, it wasn't like that. Wasn't like that. So you're saying you didn't try and use my card yesterday at Sephora, only come back in September? I just didn't think it would be a big deal. I used it before to buy some of the furniture for the house, like you said I could. So you copied my card number and betrayed my trust, or what? I don't think you're being honest with me. So are you telling me that you didn't use my card yesterday and before you didn't take cash out from somewhere with my credit card? I didn't copy your card number when I took it to buy the furniture, add it to my Apple Wallet. I may have used it just a few times in between then and now, and you're making it sound like I stole money from you or something. You did. You did steal money from him. You didn't have permission to do that. You're making it very dramatic. That's what they all say. That's Darvel. Classic Darvel. Well, that's because it's a big deal to me. You stole sensitive financial information from me. I'm just confused what you were using $500 in cash advance for anyway. Whoa. Why wouldn't you just ask me? I never got cash out of the card, I swear. And then he shows her. Isn't for that much, but I certainly did not do it right around the time I left for Mexico. So $10 cash advance fee. Oh, okay, I see now. So the card is on my Apple Pay, so I must have been defaulting to yours on accident when I used Venmo to pay my friend. You have to trust me here, it was a mistake. So it was a mistake you spent $200 yesterday too on my card. I just don't understand why you would just ask me for money if you needed it. This is low, and you know how I am about this kind of stuff because and you exploited my worst insecurities. I truly just didn't make think much of it. You'd been paying your card off all the time. I just didn't think it would hurt you that much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he pays his card off all the time because that's what you should do with a card. Hello. It doesn't make it okay. Come on, you know I wouldn't do anything. I would do anything for you. And if you'd asked for the sun, I'd have climbed Everest to try and get it for you. Stealing from me is not okay. It wasn't ever a ton of money at a time because it doesn't, add up over time at all. I ultimately plan to pay you back, but I guess I do also understand why you're upset about it. You advanced cash advance $500 in December. It's not about whether it's a lot to me, but you realize that it's simply not okay. You've been doing this for months when was the repayment going to start? I needed money at the time and I just like didn't know how to ask you at the time. I'm sorry. So first it was a mistake and now you just did it and didn't ask. So you're lying. You're a liar. LMAO, I'm sorry. I can't have too much sympathy for you. You live with me. I pay my mortgage and I don't ask you for anything. I already pay for everything for you. You know I'd have to help you. And if you ever had a problem asking me for anything, I would spoil you and you know that. You're acting like like I'm some sort of criminal or something. Like please just take a deep breath. Ma'am, you are a criminal. This is literally fraud and theft. I'm sorry. No, I'm acting like you just broke all the trust I had for you. It's been so hard for me in the past few years to open up to people like I have to you, and excuse me, and this is the exact reason why this exactly what I've been afraid of. I feel like you're blowing it slightly out of proportion. No, he's not. He's downplaying, if anything. Don't tell me how to feel about this situation. My bank blocked my card and called me about possible fraud while I was in a different country. Do you not understand that this is a major deal to me? Do you get how bad that looks on you and myself as well? I apologize. You're focusing on the wrong thing. No, he's not. LOL. And what's the right thing for me to focus on here? That I was stressed and I was scared and I didn't know what I was going to do. Now you're making me feel like a terrible person. You're pissing me the wang off. Cut the victim crap. You're not a victim. If anyone is then it's me. But I'm not even playing that card. So be a woman and help me understand why you'd hide something like this from me instead of just talking to me. Make it make sense to me. She answers, I feel like you don't trust me sometimes, like the way you're interrogating me now, interrogating you and talking to me right now. Right now, it feels like you're holding your money over my head. Oh, please. I'm laughing out loud. When have I ever held money over your head? Never asked you to pay me back or made you feel bad about not paying for anything ever. I deserve the same honesty and respect I give to you, my girlfriend. She's a peach. I always put you first. How the hell am I holding money over your head? I told you I was sorry and I don't know what else you want from this point. I feel like I want you to understand why it's a big deal to me and why I'm so hurt. If you don't get it, then you just don't get it. But I want to be frank with you and to let you know I'm reconsidering this whole thing. I have a few more days here and I don't want to be consumed with this while I'm trying to enjoy the rest of my trip with my friends. I've given it too much time this morning already. I don't want to talk to you in between now and when I get back home. We will talk in person then and I figure this out, but I'm incredibly hurt and questioning a lot of things. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm being punished and it was never supposed to be this big of a deal. I can't with this girl. I love you immensely and I never want to hurt you. You're right. I should have talked to you. I hope you can understand that this was a huge mistake on my part and I don't want to lose you over this. Too late. Red flags. I mean, this girl is a walking red flag. I love you more than I can even put into words. I wanged up. Yeah, you did. You did more than that. You committed a crime. I mid 20s male. Have been dating my girlfriend for just under 2 years. Currently, I make a very decent amount of money, and she knows this. I'm also on top of my finances and credit and stuff, and she may not so much. Yeah, she's not at all, from what it sounds like. You do not need to go to the store and spend money that you don't have, ma'am. I typically pay my credit card down to zero regardless of the balance every month. Good for you. That's what you should be doing. Green flags for this boy. I call him a boy because I have kids the same age. Green flags. Green flags for this young man. Good job. In December, I was traveling and doing some budgeting, so I just happened to check my statement. I noticed just a handful of charges that I didn't recognize, some shopping online, random stores and crap, and even some cash advance and transactions, which I get charged a fee for. Not a big deal in and of itself, but I figured my card had just been compromised. Reported the charges, got a new card, proceeded very carefully with my card info going forward. I did not accuse anyone and just chalked it up to bad luck. Fast forward a few months, my friend and I planned this trip to Mexico for 2 weeks here at the end of January, beginning of February. Before traveling here, I told my credit card company that I would be out of the country, so there was no problems with purchasing things here. They called me and told me they had flagged some charges and wanted to know if I was back from my vacation. I'm not back yet. I started putting two and two together and came to the realization that it could only be my girlfriend, and I'm really crushed about it right now about this. I confronted her, and these are the messages. I feel like I'm being gaslit about it. You are. You are. I really just don't want to see her because I'm so angry and I don't want her to be in my house when I get back, but I understand she lives there and I can't kick her out. Am I overreacting? No, you're underreacting, actually. You want her out of the house? Call the cops and have her arrested. They'll get her out real quick. They'll get her out of the house lickety split. Call like the day before you come home. uh, the mod says 8.1 thousand comments, numerous reports on this one. We're going ahead and lots of comments. OP has all the information they need at this point. It got popular. Popular. even e- even budget says NOR. Oh, what? Wait, me? What do you mean? Damn girl, I tried to brazen it out there for a minute. This is a massive violation of trust, using your card, lying about it, and then trying to play victim at the end of your exchange. I hate to say this, but I really think you are being taken advantage of here. Hugely. She doesn't even pay rent. How could she not have money not paying rent? I would seriously reconsider this relationship if I were you. Also, I thank goodness you paid off your balance in full. Cash advance, a cash advance from a credit card girlfriend could seriously screwed you with that. General PSA: never do cash withdrawals on your credit card. Never. Exactly. This guy's got it. He knows what he's talking about. Never, ever, ever do cash advance on a credit card. Ever do it. Miss Muse says, I thought maybe it could be possible she accidentally used his card until I read about the cash advances she was taking out. Those can't happen by accident, and the APR is super obnoxious on those. I hope OP tells her he's expecting interest on the cash advances she made. Yeah, no kidding. How do you even take cash advance using your Apple Wallet? I'm trying to understand. And Select Fisherman says you can use credit card to send money on Venmo and it counts as a cash advance. Oh, oh, that's not good. Next top rated comment is from Brown. Brown. The lying and then excuse for doing it was bad enough. The playing the victim part was icing on the cake. NOR. These are the incorrect reactions for her to make. She's sorry she got caught. Yep. Otter answers, I started seeing red when I got to please just take a deep breath, followed by, I feel like your blowing is slightly out of proportion, and now you're making me feel like a terrible person. Girl, in a bird emoji, if you know what I mean. Um, Not only is she committing fraud and theft, um, she's committing financial abuse of her spouse, well, not spouse, of her significant other, her partner. And financial abuse is still abusive. Electrical bacon answered to that. And the I feel I'm being punished. Nah, if you're being punished, you'd be in handcuffs for fraud. No kidding. Hershey Mamela says took forever to apologize, made herself the victim, and didn't even offer to pay you back. Yeah, even one of these could be a deal breaker, let alone three. And Johnny can't read says not even a real apology. She doesn't even understand what she's apologizing for. It reads as I'm sorry I got caught. And then the next top rated comment is from Pro- Professor Moxie, Prof. Moxie. NOR, the way my eyes opened wide when she said she added your card to the Apple Wallet. Did mine do that? I think mine might have done that too. At first, she didn't know anything about the charges. Then she said they to the wrong payment method. Then she said she thought you wouldn't mind. Yeah, exactly. I caught that too. I don't know about the rest of y'all's relationship, but I would have a really hard time trusting her too. Oh, I wouldn't trust her. She'd be gone so fast. Sissy Bell says, "Yep, completely untrustworthy. I noticed that too. She goes from complete denial in the beginning to thought you wouldn't mind. I was going to pay you back." And I I seek a I seek am I American? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. ISEKAI American. That didn't happen, and if it did, that wasn't that bad. And if it was, it's not a big deal. And if it is, it's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if you did, you deserved it. Approximate knowledge cat says that's the narcissist's prayer. Yeah. Get rid of her, OP. Get rid of her. Next one is server life and is entitled Ladies, Ladies, why is every couple a drop dead gorgeous woman and a loser guy in a t shirt? There's no way to say this, but almost every couple under 25 on Valentine's Day, the girl was not only very clearly was out of the guy's league physically, but also took the effort to dress up to the nines, and the guys didn't even wear a dress shirt. Guys can't help physically or facially, but they can make up for it in effort, grooming, dressing, showing he cares with something other than an oversized band t-shirt to Valentine's Day dinner. Meanwhile, the girls are dressed like Bratz dolls, coordinating everything from their purses to their shoes and their hair. And multiple guys didn't pay the bill. WTF, why are young girls paying the bill on Valentine's Day? The sassy man apocalypse is truly horrendous. Where are the gentlemen? Wow. Judgy Munch? Like, wow. I mean, people get to date with who they want to date. And some women will look past a lot of things. And most guys that are good looking, are narcissists because they know they're good looking and they can get away with stuff. And guys that are not into that stuff, they sometimes make the best partners. So too bad for you, OP. Um, High Representative has a who killed Roger Rabbit? Is it who killed Roger Rabbit? It says some of it might be due to he makes me laugh energy. And they talk about his bow tie. Not into that. Uh, Mama Beatnik says men are vegetable creatures. Okay, then why do you look like that, Ryan? Ryan, the white boy, says, please stop. I'm trying my best. Oh, attention number, 4-digit number. So let me get this right. Quote, so let me get this right. You're in the last year of your nursing program and he's working on his YouTube career. Meanwhile, the only time he's taking care of his headphones off, all even was make sure the cheeseburger you had ordered for him came with extra ketchup. Got it. No one says we're an older couple and sat next to a late 20s couple on Valentine's Day. They were both dressed adorably. She was beautiful and dressed to the nines. He had a handsome, nerdy vibe going on. Where's Waldo meets GQ type thing. And they inadvertently brought each other almost the same gift. Oh, that's so cute. They were super into sci fi and it was some kind of chunky scrapbook looking thing. Absolutely cute AF. Forsaken Oil says, this is the funniest description of a guy I know 10 guys you could be talking about. OP says, dude, this is literally what it felt like. I fear all the algorithms have brain rotted men under 20 out of chivalry because men 30 plus were complete gentlemen. But my God, these young people, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. Loser with a baddie girl. This is a cry for help. Loser with a baddie girl, get up all weekend. Respond appropriate says that's crazy. My 19-year-old son took his girlfriend out and he put on a collared dress shirt with a sweater over it and slacks. He's a math nerd who loves to play his video games. I was very proud of him. Also, I served on V-Day and I must say all the under 50, 30 guys paid for their dates and looked decent. I had multiple under 21 couples. They tipped and acted better than the over 30 couple could. That's it. This guy just seems judgy to me. He's jealous. He's jealous. He doesn't have a girlfriend and he's jealous. That's all I've got to say about that. This is from Confession, and it's entitled, I noticed my coworker left their car running and run out of gas. And it has themed, it says not safe for work content, so be warned. And I don't know why it's not safe for work. It's dumb. Pretty much what the title says. I was walking out to my car for lunch and noticed his was still running. I hate this guy, so I let it run completely out of gas. Hours later, weighing him. Oh, okay. Screaming Yeti says, must have had almost no gas in it because it would take a long time for a car to run out of gas on idle. That's true. Tim Reuters says, that's what I thought. In my experience, they use about a liter an hour. We had to do that many times if the temperatures were below 0 to 20 or 20, below 20 or below 30 to keep the diesel from waxing up. Fairly large engines above 3 liters. No Fear says, I would say half a liter an hour if you don't have a super powerful race motor. Modern cars are pretty economical. Yeah. It would take forever for a car to run out of gas like that. T. Shuckster says my neighbor left their car window down during a huge snowstorm. They play extremely loud music that shakes my house, like huge fireworks that hit my house, and they just really suck. I didn't tell them. Don't blame you. I've had sucky neighbors too. What should we call that? It's not petty revenge. It's neglectful revenge, maybe? Neglect revenge. A freak Ducid says, my neighbor's dog got out once. He does not care for his pets. I caught her and took her to the local vet. I dated the vet tech for a while and told him to post a found picture on Facebook. Showed the pic to my neighbor who had to pay for boarding and shipping. LMAO. I also had to provide proof. Also had to provide vaccinations, which he did not have, so he had to do that too. Good job. Good job. Kai Incognito says it's one hell of a gas guzzler to run out of just on idle. I don't think this is true. I don't think it's true. I know we're supposed to assume that it's all true, but I don't think it's true. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates entitled My boss told me to stick to my job description when I asked for a raise, so I did, and now he's mad things aren't getting done. Originally posted in anti work with the uh, same title. That's what the word is. Original post was February 5th, 2026. I've been pulling double duty for 6 months since our senior dev quit. Developer. That's supposed to be a developer. I'm fixing legacy code, training the 2 new interns, and generating the weekly client reports, none of which is actually my job description. Last week, I finally asked for a market adjustment, and my boss gave me a 10-minute lecture on budgets and ended it by telling me to focus on the core responsibilities outlined in your contract instead of worrying about money. Bet. That's what he says. Bet. Um, yeah, the company's saving money by not employing someone to do the job that he's been doing. So the least you can do is give him some money. Um, my husband did 2 jobs at one time. 2 like director jobs at one time for where he works, and they did not give him enough money for that. 600 emails a day between the 2 of them, which he's used to like 30 to 60. IT stinks. Hello, squirrel. A cute little black squirrel still out there. I immediately stopped fixing the nightly build errors not in my contract, and I stopped answering the intern's constant Slack messages not in my contract. And I definitely didn't run the client report this morning because it was not in my contract. They didn't say that, but I did. I just got a Slack message marked urgent asking where the data is for his 9 a.m. meeting. I'm about to reply with a screenshot of the core responsibilities section of my contract. Wish me luck. Relevant top comments. Commenter, good luck, OP. I hope you have something lined up. Crap is real out there in the job market. Oh, OP, fair point. I'm definitely not trying to be reckless, but honestly, I'm the only safety net they have right now. Our development team is literally just me and 2 interns who started last month. Ouch. If they fire me, the entire platform stalls. And they can't afford to lose the only person who knows how the legacy code works. Commenter 2, if they can't fire you today, they'll look to replace you with one of the interns as soon as possible. You are not obedient enough. OOP, let them try. Honestly, the code base is 5 years of undocumented spaghetti code. It took me a year to understand it. If they think a fresh intern can decipher this mess in a few weeks to replace me, they are welcome to try. I'll be watching from a safe distance. Commenter 3, assuming this is in the States, let's hope they don't sack you. Holding thumbs, if he doesn't stick to it, if he isn't prepared to pay you for a senior role, he doesn't get a senior responsibilities done. OOP, fingers crossed, but honestly, if he sacks me, he's firing the entire department. It's just me and 2 interns left. He'll be shooting himself in the foot, but knowing him, he just might try it. Commenter 4, love this. Just a quick suggestion. You'll also add in your response that you, boss, told me to focus on core responsibilities. The daily data isn't part of that screenshot. I can't wait to see the reply. Always use their language. Yes. And always ask for everything in writing. And also take notes. Take notes at the same time in case they don't send you that email. And I asked for an email. I did not receive the email. And then I asked for an email. Here is the email. Always ask for it in writing. OOP says 100%. That's exactly what I did. I quoted his email back to him. Per your instructions below, I'm focusing strictly on core responsibilities. Using his own words against him is the only way to win this. Commenter 5, OP about to get proper wang by the phrase other duties as assigned, the hallmark of lopsided workplace responsibility controls across the world. OOP, fair point. There's a limit to other duties. Covers occasional tasks not permanently absorbing a senior development role for zero extra pay. Plus, a contract clause won't fix the database when it crashes. They need a developer, not a lawyer. Commenter 6, always get their initial response in writing. After the first meeting, send a quick, polite email. Thank you for today's meeting. Per your request, I will now relinquish ancillary tasks and focus on core responsibilities as outlined in my contract. Should I start this new approach immediately? After the yes, you now have it all in writing, aka remember you wanted this. Then you can show this to HR or anyone else where it might come in handy, wrongful termination suit, etc. February 6th, next day. Update. My boss told me to stick to my contract after denying a raise. The fallout was even faster than I expected. Sorry for the delay and for the original post getting removed by the mods. I wasn't ignoring the comments. My Slack was literally blowing up, and I had to spend half the day in meetings with HR and the director, so Reddit was the last thing on my mind. For those who missed the first post, I asked for a raise. My boss told me to focus on core responsibilities in your contract, so I stopped doing all the senior-led architecture and client reporting I'd been covering for months. The 9 a.m. meeting this morning was a disaster for him. He ended up looking like an idiot in front of the director because the client data wasn't ready. He actually tried to throw me under the bus right there on the call, but I had the receipts ready. I just calmly told the director that I was following my manager's explicit instructions from earlier this week to prioritize my contract duties over the external projects. Management tries to bring up the other duties as a sign clause in my contract later that afternoon, and other duties doesn't mean permanently absorbing a senior development's entire workload for zero extra pay. And not that aggressively, but that was what I meant. They haven't fired me. They literally can't because it's still just me and two interns who have no idea how the legacy code works. Instead, they've scheduled a role reevaluation for Monday morning. It feels like they finally realized they can't bully me into doing two jobs for one salary anymore. I'm still applying elsewhere because this place is a sinking ship, but man, it feels so good to just do the job I'm actually paid for. Relevant top comments. Top comment 1. I'm ready. I'm really interested to seeing the update on to this update because role reversal, reevaluation really sounds like a fancy way of saying evaluating whether you should continue your employment here. Commenters 2 says, nah, they will just put his new role as for all the duties they want him to do and either offer a small pay bump or just tell him this is your new role. They won't fire him, but he's definitely going to want to leave soon. OOP, that's exactly what I'm expecting. If the new role is just my old job plus senior developer's job, but for the same junior pay, I'm not signing it. I've already started polishing the resume and reaching out to recruiters. I'm done being the bargain bin senior developer. Commenter 3, if OP is doing that much of their boss's work, kind of sounds like they should have leave their boss's job. OOP, I know, right? I'm preparing to resign and get a new job if this continues. Commenter 4, other duties as assigned, any other tasks instructed by immediate supervisor. And I like that. I hate it so much. I think those should be illegal. Agreed. It completely destroys the purpose of the job description. Imagine if other contracts worked that way. I paid my phone bill, but the agreement had any other task I require and asked my phone company to clean my garage. It's wanging bull crap. Throw Throw VV questions away says, this is going to probably one more update, and it's 85% going to be OOP leaving them high and dry or 15% fired. Multiface says, I put a 50-50 with the job market, what it currently is for software developers. I'd wager they can find someone who, at least on paper, can do the job for less. Yeah, probably. Let's see if we do have a update. That keeps our post pinned. Jerkwad. Means probably not real. All right. This is from Made Me Smile. And it is, I posted on Reddit a year ago at my absolute lowest. Today I'm enrolling me the stranger who helped me survive it. That's what we want to do here, is help people like. And there's OOP and her new Italian friend, I assume, since that's where she's at. Nice girls. Exactly 1 year ago, I was sitting in my room feeling like the world had permanently shrunk. I poured my heart out to a group of strangers on this sub. My post blew up and the support was amazing. One specific DM changed everything. A girl from Italy messaged me. Told you she was Italian. She wasn't just offering sorry, she was living my exact timeline, feeling my exact flavor of pain across a 7-hour time difference and 1,000 kilometers. I live in Singapore and we started talking. At first, it was just survival, checking in to make sure the other hadn't eaten or had eaten or stopped crying. But then the DMs turned into daily life. We moved from how do I stop missing them to look at the sunset, listen to this song. I think I'm going to be okay. We healed our wounds, two strangers, opposite sides of the globe, severed together by a shared ache. When I finally decided to reclaim my life and PLA's solo trip, well, plan, not PLA, plan, and plan a solo trip to Europe, she was my biggest cheerleader. I was nervous. What if it was awkward? What if friendship didn't translate into real life? But she drove 4 hours just to see me, and when we finally stood face to face in Rome, there was no getting to know you phase. There was this overwhelming sense of familiarity. We hit the streets of Rome like we've been exploring together for years. Oh, I love that. We laughed. We walked until our feet hurt. We stood in front of monuments that felt small compared to the journey we'd be taken to get there. We had a moment where we looked at each other and realized the worst thing that ever happened to us. Those breakups were actually the price of admission to this friendship. If you asked us a year ago if we trade the relationship for this, we would have said no. Now we both agree we'd choose the breakup every single time. To anyone lurking here feeling like you're shouting it into a void, your life is so much bigger than the person who left you. There are people who you haven't met, you are going to love you. There are cities you haven't seen yet, they will feel like home. Hold on, it gets so much better. I love that. I love it, love it. We're going to end there. We're going to end right there. I'll be back tomorrow. That's the plan, to be back tomorrow. I just messed up my. There we go. I have like the floor protector thing. It doesn't cooperate all the time. It likes to move around. It's not carpet, so why is it moving around like that? I gotta fix it. I don't feel like probably because I'm hungry right now. I didn't eat a lot of lunch because it's one of those days where I'm gonna go eat an early dinner and maybe make my dessert. I found a dessert. Did I tell you? There's a casserole, a dessert casserole. It's sweet potato casserole from Aldi, but it's really good. And it makes a great dessert because it's really super sweet. It's got nuts in it. It's awesome. You should try it. You should try it. So go to Aldi and get yourself some dessert. It's sweet potato casserole. I assume they have it because Easter's coming up. Probably be gone after Easter, and I'll be disappointed because I won't be able to buy it anymore. Sweet potato casserole. Luckily, sweet potatoes are all year round thing currently. So I will see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Love you. Bye, biddies. Bye.